Hello everyone, this is Tormuse, and today I'm picking up where I left off in OmOneko. Um, yeah, it's been a few days. Yeah, we last left off. There were some interesting interactions between our nameless protag and Shimi, the feral, mostly non-verbal Nico. Um, yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. We finished with a time jump a few days later. Um, Yeah, anyway, let's just carry on. A few days later. That's coming up in 5 minutes. Okay. The shape of the roof is designed with purpose, angled to a particular engineering outcome, directing the rain to funnel, water falling off at designated points, and onto the drains set on the ground to catch it. The rainwater flows into the earth. Wow, what is this lengthy description for? This stream is off to a flying start here. The rainwater flows into the earth along pipes which eventually lead to utility tunnels. They are deep underground alongside but safely separated. I'm sorry, separated? With an E instead of an A? I do believe that's not how you spell separated. Yeah, I can't get out of proofreading mode. I demand that my name be removed from the proofreading credits. Um, I'm sorry, I didn't read this far. I would have caught these typos if I had when I was proofreading before. Anyway, separated from electrical conduits, gas lines, and sewers, the stormwater is collected and carried away in its own dedicated system. Concrete channels mimic tributaries and connect small streams into bigger and bigger waterways, merging into cement canals which carry the stormwater away. Yeah, seriously, wow, what is all this detailed description of aqueducts for? Is this some kind of world building, or is this protag getting, I don't know, philosophical about water systems? I don't know. It all begins with the rain on the roof. And here, at a point between where the rainwater waterfalls from the roof and before it lands in the drain to be caught and carried underground, here stands Shimi. Yeah, the previous scene during the storm sort of seemed to indicate that Protag gets nervous around storms. I wonder if that's related to some past trauma as well, like so many other things in this game. Anyway. Oh, she's naked because of course she is. Her ears folded back, she allows the natural shower to cascade over her body in its cool, constant flow. I find myself unable to do anything but gape at her. The sight is beyond surprising, and, well, she's gorgeous. God damn it. God damn it, Protag. I'm sorry, it's just so much of this game is like that. Protag just sexualizing every female character around him. Well, every Nico character around him anyway, I guess. Yeah, like during the last stream, I was talking at length about that whole topic, and didn't never really quite put my finger on what bugged me about it. It's more like, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with sex in itself. It's just there's just something off-putting in the fact that the girls aren't participating in their own sexuality. You know, it's like it's I don't know. It's all something that's imposed on them without their I guess their will or knowledge, and possibly without any understanding of what's being projected onto them. It's just it's an odd power dynamic in this thing. Instantly, there's an ad break coming up in 1 minute. I'll pause the game when it comes on. I just need to. I'll just random moment before before that comes on. But yeah, no, it's like I was talking in the last stream about mandatory anime bullshit, and there's like for example, there's one anime, I don't remember the name of the anime, an anime that I saw where there's a scene where the girls they're talking, and then for no reason at all the camera switches camera angles to show an upskirt shot, and they continue talking as though nothing happened. They're completely oblivious to what the camera is doing, and it's just like, why? It's just, I don't know. It just makes me feel icky, I guess. Um, Ad break is imminent. Yeah, I don't, you know what I mean. Like if it's one thing if the the girl is participating in sexual activity, and another if it's just like like the male protag ogling the characters or whatever. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. Um. Anyway. Yeah. Ad break is ad break is imminent. Why don't I just get a jump start on that? I'll be right back. And back again. And welcome to the stream, our Cyclone. And yes, I was already ranting about it before before you got here. Um, yeah, this protag is continuing to sexualize the girls, the Nikos. Um, it's and the other guy was here. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? I figured. Yeah, I mean, it's the only way I'm gonna get through this if I can rant about it periodically. it's it's not really like it's you know what I mean. It's I mean I said it. I guess maybe it's worth repeating. Like it's just like there's nothing wrong with sex in itself. It's the fact that the sexuality is they're not the fact that they're not participating in their sexuality. You know, it's being imposed on them. It's protag leering at them or whatever, and making comments about their bodies or what have you, and it's kind of off-putting to me. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. She's gorgeous. I mean, really gorgeous. A raven-haired beauty. I can't pry my eyes off of her. She looks like she could be starring in a shampoo commercial. I would totally buy that shampoo. But she looks so much more real. Her scars and stub of a tail, her lean frame, all the things that tell the tale of a life in the wild as a creature of opportunity. And I just wanted to be with her, outside with her, showering in the rain. Yeah, it's awkward for sure. Yeah, that's one word to use for it. Yeah. And he's just going on at length about her. It's just, oh, I just feel icky. You know, this isn't the kind of thing. This isn't the kind of thing I would normally play, and it's like I'm just putting a lot of trust that this is going somewhere. You know, um, as is indicated to me. Anyway, moving on. The euphoric, heady days last but a moment. The reality crashes against the shatter, and it crashes against and shatters the fantasy, as the more rational part of my brain remarks, "There's a naked Nico in your front yard. What if Veronica or other neighbors see her? Realistically, she's in the bushes at the spot we first found her, so there's almost no way anyone could see her. Still, I should get her inside." It seems one side. Yeah, no kidding. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Yeah. Like the interactions between them in the last stream also were kind of it's like even though she was initiating the contact between them, it remains an uncomfortable power dynamic. um he's the one that has all the control. He's the one like looking after her, feeding her, and so on. And I don't know. Moving on. Tapping on the window frame gets her attention. Shimi seems quite happy to see me. Yeah, hi? I stammer like a nervous schoolboy with a crush, and I point to the door. Grabbing the towel from her stash, I rush over and open the door. Shimi steps inside. Inside is better. Hello, Shimi. Shimi is still very hard to read, but she seems happy. Naked and happy, and holding her soaking wet t-shirt. With her free hand, she reaches out to touch my ear. Yes? Hello? I would have said that. It's suddenly very hard to concentrate. I blush and giggle like an idiot. How about I trade you this nice dry towel for that wet t-shirt? She takes a towel and starts drying off right there in the foyer. Prying my eyes from her, I turn quickly and head to the bathroom. I am really glad Claudia's modesty kept her from walking around naked, not that Mom would have let her. Shimi's shirt gets a quick wash in the sink with soap, a good rinse, and then into the clothes dryer with a fabric softener sheet. I focus on... For goodness sake. Come on, Protag. Mind it to the gutter, damn it. I focus on the shirt tumbling in the dryer and not on the image of Shimi naked in the rain, or her glistening skin as she dried herself off in the foyer. Nope, I am totally not thinking of the slope of her neck that merges into her collarbone, the shape and swell of her chest. Do I have to skip to the next slide before before the camera pans down anymore? Darn it. No. Is this still safe for Twitch? Um, okay, all right. Just we're gonna plow on. He's a liar. Yeah. I think of the silver neck that merges into her collarbone, the shape and swell of her chest that curves to the soft lines of her belly, then down to her hips and thighs. The shirt tumbles in the heated air of the dryer. Wow, I never noticed how quickly the clothes dryer heats up the room. Mia's old shirt. Shimi wears one of Mia's old shirts. If Mia knew, I think her head would explode. That thought caused me to recall Goro joking about Shimi being the feral that Mia hit with her car. The timeline fits. Yeah, gosh, start it again. Um, like, I don't know how much more we're going to see of Mia in this story, but, like, I don't know. I mean, going by Maddie's original pitch for this game, way back several years ago when when he first started. When did he first start working on this? It must have been a few years ago at least. I remember talking to him about it, like early drafts and so on. And I get the definite. It's hard to say. I get the definite feeling it was intended to go in different directions than it's presently going. I don't know how much Mia gets expanded on as a character. Like it kind of feels like, I mean, at present at least, it feels like she's sort of a one-note bad guy, just basically has a nothing but a constant stream of negativity and toxicity. Um, and if she is that sort of like one-note bad guy, I wouldn't put it past her to have like hit the Nico with her car on purpose, just to give herself an excuse to, demand to get rid of Claudia, something she was planning to do anyway. You know, like I get the definite feeling like she was already really bothered by Claudia's presence. Uh, 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 before any of this came about, but I don't know. That's just speculation on my part. Anyway, moving on. That t-shirt sure is taking a long time to dry. I can't seem to get the image out of my head. Shimi in all her glory, standing in the rain. It's a strange attraction, a fierce arousal, a desire I don't think I've felt before. Something animal, raw, and base. Cold shower. Yes, I need to get back into my normal headspace. Nice cold, ice cold shower. I spin on the cold tap before I can get undressed. Before I can get undressed and climb into the shower to wash away these feelings. Feelings, you know that feeling. Oh no. Like you're being watched? I didn't lock the door and I already know. Shimi. Oh boy. Standing before me like the birth of Venus, Shimi currently has a confidence about her that only unsettles me more. Okay, alright, let's see where this goes. Roused. Oh, lovely. Great. Okay, this is still safe for Twitch, right? or for YouTube when I put the VOD up. Like, am I gonna have to age gate this or something? What is going on now? She's holding the towel against her body, just not anywhere that covers anything. Droplets of her still damp hair race down her skin, leaving trails as they trace the curves of her. I swallow hard, trying to calm my breathing. Behind me, ice-cold water rains from the shower head. Before me, a very naked Shimi blocks the only exit. She blazes with all the fiery mystery of the sun. I feel her heat. I feel her gravity pulling me towards her. It should be fine, if you say so. I'm gonna have to play a much more ordinary game after this. Maybe I'll go back to the Long Dark. Something ice cold. Anyway. She seems to be studying my awkwardness and arousal at her nakedness, trying to comprehend it and, at the same time, enjoying it. Well, I mean, yeah. Wow, it's really hot in here. I'm sure your shirt is dry enough now. I open the dryer and grab her shirt. As I reach in, my face is dangerously close to her naked body. Heat from both wash over me. Dizzied, my knees become rubbery. It takes a great deal of focus to steady myself. Stepping back, I hold out her mostly dry t-shirt, warm from the dryer and perfumed from the fabric softener. Behind me, the chill of the running shower tries to push me towards her. Shimi takes a shirt and hands me the towel. She doesn't put the shirt on right away. Every cell in my body wants to be closer to her. Shimi's nakedness goads me on. The air feels very thick. Getting it into my lungs takes effort. Ugh. She smiles that weird little smile. I don't know if I said that line right, but anyway. She smiles that weird little smile at how twisted up inside she's making me. The look in her eye is both of delight and also predatory. She's enjoying her effect on me, not even bothering to hold the shirt against her chest as an afterthought. Shimi holds up her arm for me to examine. Seriously? I nervously laugh. She doesn't need bandages or ointment anymore. The offer of her arm, we both know, is just a kind of tease to deepen the moment, a way to combine this awkward new connection with our comfortable old connection to expand the bond. She makes one hell of an argument, so Jimmy watches intently as I hold her arm with one hand and gently trace the newly formed scar tissue with 2 fingers from the other. Now it's my turn to unbalance her. My touch on her flesh for goodness sake. Sorry. We'll get through this. Gosh darn it. No wonder the view count spiked as soon as the stream started. Anyway. They've Now it's my turn to unbalance her. My touch on her flesh causes goosebumps to rise across her skin. They reach towards me as she sharply and deeply inhales. Shimi leans closer. Oh, possible ban evader. Oh, we got a. Sorry, I need to ban the bot that just popped in here. Boink. And Riddle's here. Welcome to the stream. I don't think this game is safe for Twitch. I was. I don't know. So, where is this going? It wasn't my idea. Really. Is there... I don't know, is there, I don't know, is there like Twitch friendly mode on this or something? I don't know, I'm just gonna push on. We'll get through this. Shimmy leans closer. I train all my focus on the ragged pinkish scar on her arm, but it is impossible to ignore her body, strained and excited. Strained and excited, poking at my arm in the same tantalizing manner that my fingers tease her. It's no good. The air in here feels like plasma. My vision blurs. I place my hand over the scar tissue and feel her face close to mine. Shimmy's fingers trace down my ear, down my neck. She presses her thigh against me. I breathe in the scent of her. Gosh darn it. I hold her arm tighter, her chest teasing the back of my hands. You know, Maddie said earlier that he's enjoying seeing my reactions to this. I hope you're entertained, Maddie. God damn it. Okay, alright. I hold her arm tighter, her chest teasing the back of my hands. Okay, like walking on a small boat as it rolls over large waves, the only thing keeping me from falling overboard is my tightening grip on her arm. What kind of witchcraft is this, Wildcat? We both breathe in deep, heavy synchronicity. Our noses are almost touching. I can taste her in the air. You know, I'm suddenly reminded of there was back when DDLC came out, I got in the habit of like after going through it the first time and being enthralled by it, I watched a bunch of different streams and recordings of other people going through it, so I could see their first-hand reactions. And I remember one guy who was irritated at the amorous direction that the scene with I think it was I think he picked the Yuri route for the weekend scene, and but he preferred Sayuri, I guess. But he was like, this had better not go on auto ho mode. Like, I think that was the way he phrased it, and you get to the bit where like Protag licks Yuri's finger, and he's like, "God damn it, auto ho." Um, that's what this is feeling like, you know. We've gone full auto ho mode here. Like it's there were no choices in the scene. It was just it just went into this automatically, you know, regardless of what I did. I mean, anyway, moving right on. I can taste her in the air, her hand on my neck, her body pressing against me, her nails gently dragging across. Pepper, shower time! Drawn by the sound of running water, Pepper enters the bathroom with the subtlety of a thunderbolt. Her sudden and disruptive presence sends me stumbling backwards, almost into the shower. Yeah. Um, yeah, I've been wondering what Pepper and Claudia have been up to. Like, the last 3 scenes have been centered around Shimi, and, like, Claudia and Pepper have been weirdly absent. But anime moment incoming. I know, right? Well, I mean, this whole this whole scene has been an anime moment. But yes. Also, is protagonist about to get in the shower? Is he naked for this whole thing too? Like that's anyway. Anyway, stumbling backwards almost into the shower. Finch, punch her, pinch. Pepper takes her top off. Oh no, 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 no. Completely ignoring the situation she just interrupted, Pepper continues removing clothes in preparation of getting into the shower. I'm not sure if he is, well, okay. Seizing the paper-thin visage of rational thought I still have, I rush out of the bathroom, past Jamie and Pepper, and into my bedroom, closing and locking the door behind me. It takes more than a moment for me to get a hold of my senses and compose myself. Shimi, that was completely out of the blue and crazy and overwhelming, and although I enjoyed it, I think I enjoyed it way too much. My heart still races from the intensity of it. Shimi's attraction may be way more than I can handle. Ree! Instantly I recoil in fear that a fight broke out between Shimi and Pepper, but I quickly realized that it's just Pepper. Apparently Pepper didn't test the water temperature before jumping in the ice-cold shower. Does she know how to adjust the temperature? Anyway, the bird fights its way out of the egg. The egg is the world. Who would be born must first destroy a world. Oh, some poetry? Okay then. What now? Shimi's gone? I stand at Goro's gate and stare at the place where Veronica's yard meets the wilds. What do you mean Shimi's gone? To the south, at the back edge of both our yards, the steep, briery granite outcroppings drop sharply down into the peaty marsh of cedar, hemlock, and pitch pine. She didn't go that way. She went to the east in the direction of the river, where oak, maple, and spruce ride a more gentle slope of granite ledge and ravine skirting the edge of town. That's where Shimi went, and now she's gone. Wait, is she actually gone? Is that the end of Shimi? Because I kind of wondered, like, we'll see, yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I have a feeling it's not the last of her, but I did kind of wonder, like, back when it came to the choice between saving Shimi and just putting her down, I mean, that's a hell of a divergence in the possible paths the game can take, right? The different directions the story goes, whether she lives or not. I have a feeling it might have been an illusory choice, you know, that just like the previous choice that I rambled on about in the previous stream, where it's like, I have a feeling this would have turned out the same regardless of which option I chose. And she's a fairy after all, yeah. I mean, theoretically, the end goal for healing her was, or helping her heal was so that she could go off and live her life, go back to her feral life out in the wild. You try another time and see if it's different? Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, part of the reason I bring up bring it up is I mentioned before Diablo Graves, who is one of the people who worked on this project for OmOneko. I asked him if it was okay for me to mention it. He said, "Yeah, it's fine." There was he made a small Renpai project titled "The Illusion of Choice," where he talked about the life of his cat, who passed away a couple of years ago. Yeah, like apparently the to put it mildly, the cat meant a lot to him, and it is a little visual novel style thing that had pictures of his cat and so on as backgrounds and some other things, and it talked about his history with first picking up the cat and caring for him, and him getting the cat getting sick with cancer, and paying for expensive treatments for him and so on, and periodically through the project there are choices like what like picking up the cat, or in the first place, or picking a different cat, and regardless of which option you choose, it's like the answer is there was never really a choice. Like you had to have him, and when it comes to the choice of treating the cancer or putting him down, is like there was never a choice. You're gonna treat him. And I sort of wonder if themes from that crept into this. Like if you make the choice, like potentially if you make the choice to put Shamey down, maybe Protag goes, no way, I can't do this. We got to help her, etc. That's rough. Yeah. It's sad. I knew that I knew that Dab was like really sad about the loss of his cat, but the little Renpai project he made just really put in perspective. Yeah, he never released it publicly. He shared it with me privately. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to mention it, but I asked, like, just before the stream started. I DM'd him and said, "Hey, is it okay if I mention that Illusion of Choice project thing?" And he said, "Yeah, it's okay." Oh, hey, Diablo's here. Welcome to the stream. Speak of the devil. Hey, back. Had to go pick up some deliveries. Yeah. So I had an orange tomcat last year. It sucks too. Yeah. Yeah, Diablo, I was just talking about the Illusion of Choice, your project, and wondering aloud if there were some influences of that sort of concept that crept into this, where the choices in this aren't really choices. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of wondered if this is like one of two directions. Like, one, the choice wasn't really a choice, and you save Shimi either way, or or maybe this is the point where the timelines converge and, you know, either Shimi dies or Shimi runs away on her own. But I don't know. That's kind of what I was getting at in bringing up that project. How that the illusion of choice crept into it. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a good way for me to sort of deal with it. I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 I don't know what else to say about that. I'm just gonna move on. That's where Shimi went, and now she's gone. Finding things to occupy myself all day was its own task. Claudia did chores, Pepper played bounce with her new ball. I mostly just watched them. They appreciated my company, I appreciate the distraction. There you go. They appreciate my company. Again, making assumptions about what they're thinking and feeling. Anyway, I was only really half there though. My equilibrium is off. But now as the shadows grow, they widen the hole in my life, one I haven't felt in a long time. And I find myself back outside, looking off towards the forests. A very old place with a very old emptiness. Shimi will be back. I'm sure of it. It's just, right now, my bed is too big. Weird how quickly I got used to having Shimi next to me. Hearing her breathe, feeling her move in the covers, I miss the rough calloused skin of her toe against my leg. Okay. I'm awake for much longer than I want to be. It's a restless night. Shimi doesn't show up for breakfast the next day. I force myself not to think too much of it. I spot Claudia at the sink holding a spatula and a frying pan. She moves the former against the latter like there's something stuck on the pan. Sort of. It's less scraping a spatula on the pan and more moving it in a slow circle. Yeah, Claudia has been absent for the past few scenes. What's she been up to all this time? Morning. She jumps, slightly embarrassed at being caught daydreaming. Slightly embarrassed at being caught daydreaming. Is he reading their minds, or is this just making more assumptions about what they're thinking and feeling? Like, it still feels like unreliable narrator to me. Anyway, my look tells her we've known each other way too long for you to be embarrassed in front of me. I may as well use those to cook a glass of eggs. Yeah, so I don't want to spoil too much, but do tell or don't tell, as as the case may be. I will say that one thing about this project is that you have to spend a lot of time in this guy's head, as you've probably noticed. I mean, yeah. Yeah. So, a lot of time in this guy's head, which frequently goes in uncomfortable directions, as I've expressed. But anyway, moving on. Mostly use those to cook a glass of our eggs. She returns a small but appreciative smile. Humbly, Claudia hands me the pan and spatula, then fetches our few remaining eggs. Sad. I look up from my empty plate. I'm full, yet plagued by an emptiness the meal doesn't touch. I don't even remember eating the eggs. No, I'm fine. Claudia isn't buying it. She doesn't push the issue, but waits to see if I'll confide in her. Why not? I wish I knew where Shimi was. Before Claudia can respond, Pepper interrupts. Pepper knows. My shocked and hopeful expression quickly morphs to one of simple doubt, a clear indication I'm not in the mood to be teased, but Pepper doubles down. Pepper knows where sashimi goes. Pepper just waits, her smile twists playfully. Fine, tell me what you know and I'll give you a treat. She thinks about it, then shakes her head. Nope. What? No treat. We're bargaining. I feel my lips press together and my eyes narrow as another mood swing takes hold. I hold my temper and slowly release a breath that feels like hot slag. Yeah, there's some unreliable narration involved, but that is Also by its nature a requirement, because if we spent the entire VN going, well, I think this is how things are playing out, but I can't be certain without evidence, this thing would be like 4 times as long. Yeah, fair enough. Well, hey, it's a choice you make in when you're writing, right? How much information to convey to your audience, how to convey it. Like, in my last big project at Turquoise, I made a careful choice to include as little internal monologue as possible for the whole thing, and there were various reasons for that. Some of it was due to pacing. Some of it relates to stuff that's endgame spoilers, but uh, yeah, choo choo. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna move on. Oh yeah, and does Protag have some anger management issues? Told my temper to slowly release a breath that feels like hot slag. Then what do you want? With a far too serious expression, Pepper says very quietly, "Story time." Yeah, there you go. Shit, that's right. I'm an idiot. We haven't had a story time since the first one. Shimi being sick made me forget all about it. The guilt is humbling and compounds my already dour mood. You got it, Pepper. We'll do story time tonight. And? And? Story time. All nights. Every night? That sounds like a lot. And voices. Voices? You want me to act out the character? And costumes. Pepper. And treats. You're just screwing with me, aren't you? Oh, and stop. Wait. Look, Pepper, I can't promise I'll do story time every night, but we'll try for at least a few times a week. Pepper waits. And I'll do the stupid voices, but no costumes, deal? Pepper, having probably gotten more than she was shooting for, smiles and puts her hand out. Deal. I reach to shake and close the deal when she suddenly grabs my hand and drags me over to the curtains. We stand at Shimi's stash. Not sure what game Pepper is playing with me now, but I'm starting to doubt that she has any useful information. What am I looking at, Pepper? Shimi isn't here. Pepper gets an annoyed expression and pulls the curtain back, revealing a juice box and a photo of me. The canvas bag and can of crushed tomatoes are gone. Realizing that Pepper knows about the stash and that the stash had a picture of me causes me to blush. I know this is where she hides stuff. You're not telling me anything. Some stuff here gone, but stuff in sashimi, other stash, not gone. Other stash? Where's your other stash? Pepper again grabs my hand. Pulling me outside, we end up near the bird bath and Mom's flowering tree. That little piano progression sound is great. It gets a lot of use in this. Anyway, bird bath and Mom's flowering tree. Pepper gives me a very smug grin. Well, you said you knew where I could find Shimi. Nuh-uh. Pepper say knows where Sashimi goes. Pepper, still grinning, looks up towards where one of the tree branches overhangs the roof. I follow Pepper's eyes. I don't see... Then I do. Hidden by the branch, there's a plastic recycling bag, tied shut and containing something. I wouldn't have seen it if Pepper hadn't pointed it out. How did Pepper know? Who cares? The real questions are what's in it, and more importantly, how am I going to get it down? Pepper, get him! Reading my mind, or maybe just my expression, Pepper offers her solution. Doing a splendid Sin Kitty impersonation, she quickly climbs up the tree. I don't really want her on the roof, but it is the only way to get it down. Careful. With impressive agility, she's up quicker than I'm comfortable with. It only takes a moment for her to retrieve the bag. It seems Shimi managed to affix it to the branch so that it would stay on the roof. Pepper unceremoniously drops the bag to me and climbs down. Once she's safely back on the ground, I relax and open the bag. Pepper's eyes remain fixed on the roof, but there's nothing else up there. I get her attention. Hey, stay off the roof. Bah, no fun. Just holding the bag arouses the feeling of being close to Shimi. Involuntarily, I pause a moment to savor the connection. I'm surprised to see clothes inside the bag, and more surprised that they aren't mine. It appears Shimi has acquired a new outfit, a pair of denim shorts and a shirt? Uh-oh. Okay. From a clothing donation box, maybe? It's very common for ferals to raid them. This is actually one of the things everyone seems to agree upon and encourage when it comes to ferals. The idea of a bunch of wild cat girls running around naked would make the Puritans lose their minds. For as far back into history as you can look, people have been leaving old clothes out for ferals, and because people are imbeciles, in more modern times, sometimes people will leave our clothes featuring their local sports teams, then post security or trail cams footage of ferals running around in them. Go team, idiots. Okay. But this doesn't look like something left out for a feral, and there isn't a clothing donation box anywhere close. Unless you got these from the box by the restaurant? Cold. Not from box. Guess. I narrow my eyes at Pepper. She seems to know way more than she should. And there's something too familiar about this outfit. The various telltale splatters of paint on the shirt leave no doubt that these are Veronica's. Oh, good guesser. Pepper, quite pleased with herself, skips off back into the house. She didn't actually say where Shimi is, but she didn't lie either. Pepper told me that she knows where Shimi goes, next door raiding Veronica's clothesline. Although Veronica's clothesline is empty, there's no doubt that this is one of my neighbor's outfits. She wouldn't have just gotten rid of it. She's too practical. Both the shirt and shorts are in good shape. It's actually pretty brash for Shimi to have taken them, even having no concept of personal property. Ferals don't come into people's yards. Well, not normally. I guess I have spoiled her. Maybe it was just too tempting for Shimi? I wonder how long ago she took these. Is she planning on coming back for them? Doesn't make sense that she'd grab... Veronica's. Claudia comes out to see what I'm doing and catches me snooping. She gives a disapproving expression as an idea comes to me. Yeah, Shimi took some of Veronica's clothes. You and I should go see Veronica and give them back. Oh? What? The two of them together? I thought I didn't want the neighbors to see Claudia, or any of them. I already anticipate Claudia eagerly agreeing. She'll make a nice distraction. Claudia runs to grab her shoes while I try to figure out how I'm going to tell Veronica that I have her clothes. A quick inventory shows my half-baked plan just got more complicated. The shirts and shorts aren't the issue, it's the bra and the frilly panties that I didn't notice till now. Okay. There was an earlier scene establishing that Veronica and Claudia know each other. Oh yeah, I'm aware of that. It's just that I was under the impression that Claudia and Pepper aren't allowed out of the house at all, except out in the backyard. Catch relevant for the win. Anyway, moving on. The bra is very plain, but the delicate panties are way sexier than anything I'd expect from Veronica. A red thong, the thin transparent material accentuated with lace. It takes me a moment to accept that they really belong to my mousy neighbor. There's hardly anything to them. Good for you, Veronica. It's amazing how a simple piece of cloth can make a guy feel like the world's biggest pervert. It wasn't my intention to do anything weird, but here I am admiring my neighbor's sexy panties. How she would look wearing that? Okay, yeah. So it's not just the D, because he really is just sexualizing everybody here. I consider losing the panties to save both of us the awkwardness. Instead, I hide them and the bra inside the shorts. I mean, I don't know. You just present the whole bag to her and let her sort it out. What do I know? Leaving the empty bag behind, Claudia and I head over to Veronica's. I've never felt comfortable knocking on Veronica's back door. I know she doesn't mind, and unlike going to the front, this way has the benefit of keeping Claudia hidden from any of the neighbors' prying eyes. But I still feel like I'm intruding. Yeah, not gonna lie. Going into someone's back door feels a little weird to me. Oh. It's unlocked, please. I mean, come in? We step inside. Veronica looks surprised, but also happy to see us. Claudia immediately gives her a big hug. Hi, Veronica. Hope you're not interrupting. Oh, no, 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 not at all. I was just doing, stretching canvas. I'm always happy to see Claudia. Your nails look so pretty. Why can't MCP normal sometimes? Yeah, right? Thanks. Claudia beams at the attention, then steps away to admire Veronica's artwork. Oh, please forgive the mess. It's, would you like some tea? Not necessary. Tea, please. Veronica smiles at Claudia. I guess we're having tea. Now, if I remember, it's mostly milk for you. Is that right, Claudia? Claudia nods, grinning in anticipation as Veronica puts water on the stove to boil. I had an idea to try latex on glass, like maybe different blooming flowers. And then after it dries, carefully using a scraper to lift it off so it would be just the paint without any kind of backing. An art project? Lost her own excitement, Veronica excitedly rambles as she putters about making tea. Her enthusiasm, sharing her passion, is strong enough to make me momentarily forget why I came over. It seems like a cool idea. I could string them into a hang mobile or like a beaded curtain. We've only been here a handful of times. The first was with Goro when we had to apologize for breaking the fence. Another after he fixed it, when I had to apologize for replacing the broken part with the gate. Every time I've been here, her houses looked exactly the same and also completely different. Her house isn't dirty, but there's also no recognizable sense of order. Tarps cover most of the floor, and everywhere you look are paintings in various states of completion. Yeah, that's neat. But these paintings are not the ones that were here last time, and the ones I saw last time are not the ones I saw the time before. As if Veronica were constantly in every phase of making something, preparing the components, starting one, in the middle of another, nearly complete with still another. Ah, yes. that particular trap that some creative people get into. Never actually finishing anything and just being partly done in a bunch of different projects. Anyway. But I think the latex on its own will be too floppy, so I need to figure out something to strengthen the latex so when it's off the glass it like stands up. And on top of it all, Veronica doesn't seem to have a single style or even a single medium. Claudia admires a large piece of slate covered with a vibrant swarm of butterflies done in oils with a palette knife, next to which is a fisheye perspective, abstract watercolor of a cityscape on thick paper, which is next to what looks like a commissioned portrait she's working on with charcoal and pastels. Enamels, oils would stand up, but they'd be extremely fragile or very thick, and they won't come off the glass like, the latex would. It honestly looks like a studio where half a dozen people are working rather than the living room of just a single person. I have a feeling her mind works in much the same way her home looks, chaotic and unfocused and restless, but restless and productive. So while I was thinking about it, I was stretching canvas. I'll always need a prepared canvas, so it's like, multitasking, I guess. Even though I can't fully appreciate all that goes into her work, I find myself looking around at the different pieces she's making. There's no denying her talent. Veronica is a really gifted artist, which is why her lack of confidence has always bewildered me. Yeah, I've met an artist like that. Well, probably describes a lot of artists. Maybe most, if not all of them, now that I think about it. It's the whole thing about being talented, but doubting themselves, lack of confidence, etc. I mean, immediately brought to mind a friend who I haven't actually seen in person in a long time, but she just makes absolutely gorgeous music, just seemingly effortlessly. She just writes songs and puts together a playable track like like it's nothing, and it just it's like I don't know how she does it, or really just any. There are a lot of artists I could name that just put out just gorgeous artwork, seemingly effortlessly. Yeah, it's a talent I lack. Those sorts of creative people are I don't know, they're just really impressive to me. Anyway, moving on. Impressed with it all, it takes me a moment to realize that she stopped talking. I'm perplexed by Veronica's startled expression until I realize she sees I'm very casually holding her clothes. Wait, does she think I just grabbed these? It's my turn to stab her. Oh, I have some of your clothes. Oh. Her eyes widen and her cheeks flush. No, I mean, see, this feral Nico. There's a feral in our neighborhood? Technically, yes, there is a feral Nico in our neighborhood. This statement is true. That is so cool. Yeah, your clothes, wait, you think it's cool? Oh, yeah. Veronica completely forgets the awkwardness. But you haven't been feeding it, have you? Yes, indeed, we have been feeding it, and then some. We're not supposed to feed them anymore, I guess, so maybe they, go after more rats? Rats scare me. She leans in and says the last part quietly, maybe so the rats don't hear her. My dad says that there were signs of the really big rats at one of the places we're renovating. He called the cops. They came right away with guns. They were there the whole day, but, they couldn't find them. I'm supposed to be painting the rooms there, but I hate the thought of it, The police put down these things, the metal thing that you step on and it clamps shut, traps with the metal pointy teeth. All I can think is I'll end up stepping on one. Wait, are we talking about, bear traps? Like the thing with the huge clamp on it that clamps down the bear's leg? How big are these rats? I mean, it did say that they're the size of a person's leg, but sure sounds like it, yeah. I mean, it's part of the world building for this thing, establishing that the rats are actually huge. Anyway, ferals are so important to keep the rat populations down. I wish there was a feral in that neighborhood, That would be so cool. Well, not now with the traps. I'd hate to think of a feral stepping on one. Hearing Veronica talk about ferals in such a positive way is refreshing. I wonder how she would react to learning that one of them is actually living in my house, right next door, sleeping in my bed. I have a feeling ferals are smart enough to avoid the traps. I reassure, uncertain how I could be so convinced of something I have no way to really know. Half jokingly, I offer, well, could always let you take Pepper to work with you. She wouldn't mind the car ride and would love the chance to hunt. Pepper? Your friend Goro's Nico, right? With the hammer? Oh, that's... I was kidding, of course, but she seems to be seriously contemplating it. Or trying to find a polite way to decline the offer. Regardless, if there were no rats, Pepper would get bored and cause mischief. Yeah, I have a hard time imagining that Pepper would go for that, to be honest. I mean... A sudden car ride was how she ended up getting separated from Goro, Yeah, I don't know. Like, I have a feeling that if Protag sent her off with Veronica, she would feel like she's being abandoned again. Anyway. Moving on. So anyway, the feral had your clothes. I wanted to give them back. Thanks so much. Yeah, I would have missed these and wondered forever where I put them, But I've been okay if I knew a feral had them. They're just so mysterious and neat. I'm thankful that Veronica doesn't think to ask how I got her clothes back from a feral. Instead, she goes through her clothes and then excitedly holds up the bra. Oh, great. This is probably my best bra. Me, thankfully, you're a guy. Women's underwear is the worst. Guys have no idea how hard it is to find a bra that fits just right, you know? No, I don't, but I'm sure it looks great on you. I mean, gosh darn it, Protag. I mean, I'm no expert or anything, but my understanding is that yes, having a bra that fits in all the right places to it can be a challenge. Anyway, moving on. I cringe as I hear my own words, but as Veronica realizes we're casually chatting about her underwear, any chance of avoiding embarrassment is crushed by a much greater scandal that when the sexy lace thong makes its appearance. The delicate panties fall from the wad of clothes, floating impossibly slowly to the floor and land on my foot. We both stare frozen at the red thong and then at each other. Veronica's blush is so instant and vibrant, I worry that she may faint. I quickly avert my eyes, acting like a blank spot in the ceiling is the most interesting thing I've seen all day. Well, indeed. There's an ad break coming up in 5 minutes, by the way. Anyway, Claudia, God bless her, picks the panties up and hands them to Veronica. Dropped. Oh, those aren't mine. Confused, Claudia looks at the panties. Those are mine, but they were present. I mean, Veronica's hesitation and stammering do nothing to diffuse the uncomfortable moment or draw attention away from the tiny piece of lingerie. Making the situation even more awkward, Claudia holds them up. So pretty, Veronica. Veronica looks like she doesn't know if she should respond, ignore Claudia completely, or curl up in a ball on the floor and play dead until we leave. I'm sure this could not get more awkward. I am so wrong. Maybe we can get nice panties for you, Claudia. What? I mean... Claudia slightly blushes and looks at me, excited at the prospect of me buying her lingerie. Now I'm trying really hard not to envision both Gosh darn it. Protag! Now I'm trying really hard not to envision both Veronica and Claudia wearing nothing but sexy panties. Oh no, indeed. Thanks for summing up the sentiment, R-Cyclone. What? Where is this going? I guess it's the same place it's always been going since day one. That's just the kind of game this is. Anyway, I force a smile and consider curling up in a ball on the floor. Hey, I think that tea is ready. The rest of our visit is uneventful as we enjoy tea and small talk that has nothing to do with underwear. Veronica, as always, jumps from topic to topic. She gets very excited telling us other art ideas she's recently wanted to work on. Yeah, you see, this is why I was thinking, maybe she should just leave the clothing in the bag. Then she can choose to pull it out or leave it hidden and not have it just out in the open. But what do I know? I guess it wouldn't have made for as good drama or something. Like a smart person? Yeah. Anyway, moving on. The rest of... wait, I already read that. Veronica always jumps from topic to topic. She gets very excited telling us other art ideas she's recently wanted to work on. Stained glass wall, but painting one picture on thick metal framing and then having the glass pieces be a different picture. So, like, there's two different contrasting... Claudia listens intently. Finally, we thank Veronica for the tea. That probably would have been a smart thing to do, although she did end up going through it anyway. I mean, yeah. Yeah, but if it was in the bag and she saw the red, lacy thing, she could have been, oh, leave it in the bag and not drop it on the floor and encourage more awkwardness. Anyway. Anyway, ad break coming up in a minute and a half, incidentally. I'll pause the game when it comes on. Thank you for the visit. Bye, Veronica. After we get back home, I grab my lightweight rain jacket from the foyer closet, a present from Mia she had me buy for myself. It's very good quality. I don't think I've ever worn it. Placing the jacket into Shimi's recycling bag, Pepper is more than happy to turn it to the roof. It only cost me another game of bounce. She decided to save story time for another night. Um, present. So okay, so basically he's saying he didn't want the jacket, and he's giving it to Shimi in the place of the stolen clothing. Anyway, whoops, sorry. So I just say story time for another night. Okay. After Pepper and I wrapped up our game, I watched the afternoon sun head away over the far hills, leaving room for night to visit for a while. I finally admitted to myself that I'm worried about Shimi, which is stupid. She's feral. She can take care of herself. Well, I don't know. I mean, she did kind of show up at your house, like, brutally injured. Nearly fatally injured. There's an ab break imminent. Um, I'm going to go on for another minute. Oh. The rats are at our door, a score approaching and likely more. They've come, they're under the floor, a score upon us and certainly more. Through ceiling and wall they scratch and bore, a score to settle, come more and more. And more and more. Psh. Okay, yeah. The outbreak's imminent. I don't know. Okay, there it goes. I'll be right back. And back again. Big rats indeed. Hey, what have we here? Is this a flashback or what? Let me try the cable. What? And protecting people will always be top priority. Remember, if you see one, call... Nope, it's not the connection. Okay, so he's trying to fix the TV. Naughty Pepper. Claudia mumbles under her breath as her eyes dart from me to the television. I'm doing my best to get it working, but all I can think about is Shimi. She's been gone for 3 days. And just like that, suddenly I'm tracking time again. Not having Goro or Mia around, I've had no plans or appointments to mark events. I only really noticed time passing since she's gone. And I keep having the strangest dreams. You know, this TV is older than we are. Claudia stops anxiously tugging her hair and giggles. You're watching Police Show, live and uncensored ride-alongs with... Sorry, Claudia, I think it's the broadcast. Remember this happened before? Let's try it again later. Claudia's pout and my matching mood are interrupted by the refrigerator's chime. I thought Pepper stopped leaving it open. It's really freaking annoying, and since she's going to get a story time tonight, you'd figure she'd be less of a pain in the ass. Apparently not. Pepper, you left the fridge open again. Oh. Shimi. Shimi. Home. Hey, and Selfless here. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Well, welcome back. Thank you. How's it going? I'm continuing to play that weird cat girl game with the uncomfortable relationship power dynamics. It's I don't know. I'm just gonna trust that it's going somewhere and keep reading, and we're powering on through it. Indeed. Anyway, okay, Shimi, home. Yes, she's back. Surprise and joy wash over me, followed by something darker. I want to move to Shimi to close the small distance between us, but I can't. My feet refuse to budge. Claudia enters the kitchen to greet Shimi, but also freezes in place. Shimi briefly regards Claudia and then turns her attention and flat stare back at me. None of us move. Is she covered in blood or something? All relationships have weird power dynamics. Okay, that's one way to put it. Yeah. I mean, yes, she is. Yeah. Well, it's kind of more so in this because the cat girl characters like have no human rights and are sort of portrayed as having, well, at least in Protag's internal monologue, there's sort of portrayed as having, I don't know, subhuman intelligence or something. So it makes for yeah, it just makes for it's just odd. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just trusting the game to go somewhere with it. But it's as it is, it's kind of it's about it's like, on the surface, it's about these beings who don't have any rights, and you're not supposed to care about them, but you're allowed to lust after them, and it's just I don't know. It makes me feel icky. Have you offered to switch identities? What? I'm not even sure what you mean by that. I'm just gonna move on. Her attention and flat stare back at me. None of us move. Shimi holds the can of crushed tomatoes. Its bottom edge is dented in. The can and her hand are coated in thick crimson muck. In her other hand, Shimi holds a canvas sack. Dark red stains leach across the fabric in large ragged patches of blood. The whole bag has a gamey stink, like old grease mixed with roadkill. It is packed to capacity with whatever Shimi has brought back with her. Save an immigrant, give them your passport, etc.? I mean, no, I haven't. Um, have things gotten that dire? I mean, I'm in Canada. The the U.S. is where all the really problematic stuff regarding immigrants and so on is going on. Um, yeah, I mean, I've been hearing stories. They like I said, they've been rounding up people to send them to prison camps in El Salvador, and they're talking about going after citizens that were born in the country next. Like they're not limiting themselves to immigrants. There's scary stuff going on down there. But I don't mean the nightmare stuff at the moment. Okay, it's the canvas bag from earlier. Yep. Don't mean the nightmare stuff at the moment. I'm not sure what you're referring to then. I'm just going to move on. That capacity with whatever Shimi has brought back with her. I'm sort of presuming she just slew a rat, like by beating it on the head with the can. Before our eyes, Shimi drops the can and upends the sack, spilling the contents on the kitchen floor. 4 very dead rats and their wet guts slop haphazardly out of the bag, landing in a gory pile. Ooze and other unsavory juices spread on the once pristine tile. The room fills with their eye-watering stink. A few rats? Yeah. Oh, so they're that non-human? I mean, yeah. Yeah, they're sort of portrayed as being like very cat-like, in the sense of like, feral cats out in the street. Like killing rats to survive. Anyway. Each rodent's body is the length of my elbow to fingertip, up to my shoulder, if you include the tail. They're skinny and mangled, clearly having come to a violent end. One rat's skull is crushed in, the flattened head revealing its ruined brain to the late morning sunlight. Another rat has been sliced open from belly to throat. They did not go quietly into that dark night. Oh hey, it's that poem again. The Dylan Thomas poem, Do Not Go Gently Into That Dark Night. Pepper appears. Her breath immediately quickens in sudden nervous pants. It's been a long time since Pepper's seen one of these nasty bastards, not since she was a kitten in Goro's parents' basement. Snatching one up, Pepper grimaces in an almost reflexive move that she immediately twists the ruined body of the rat until its spine audibly crackles in several distinct snaps. That poem? Yeah. Here we go? Okay. Die! Yeah, of course Pepper welcomes the rats, I suppose. Pretty sure it's already dead, Pepper. Then, shedding her anger, Pepper spins around gleefully, making a pirouette with her dead dance partner's body now appears strangely hinged at the middle. There's gratitude and also an evil fire in Pepper's eyes. Sashimi brought back killed rats, best cat. The grotesque scene also piques Claudia's interest. She comes right up to the pile of dead rats. Curiously, she pokes at one. It seems that killing rats is instinctual for Nikos, even one as civilized as Claudia. She appears pleased with herself. At the same time, in a detached, almost bored manner, she studies us. She gauges our reactions, especially mine. A kind of Nico dance, one very different from what I'm used to seeing from Pepper or Claudia. My feelings are more complex. There are slaughtered rats on the floor of my kitchen. This is the grossest thing I've ever seen. But I'm also weirdly happy? Happy that Shimi is healthy? Proud she's able to bring down these vicious little monsters? Even grateful that she brought them here as a gift. Wow. But I'm also really worried that I'm expected to clean and cook these gross things, or worse, eat one? As if reading my mind, Pepper turns to me, holding the rat up like a trophy. Grill! Grilled sashimi rats, meow! Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. She hops around happily, making clumsy rhymes with her floppy rat carcass. Grill him, griller, nom nom meow, get him, gotta get him, Pepper. Claudia gingerly picks up the dead rat she was poking by its tail. She smells it, making a curious smile. Is that really what you want? I mean, are they even safe to eat? Yes! Pepper holds the rat up to my face, making it dance in a macabre puppet show. She moves its jaw, causing the rat's mouth to open and close as if it were speaking. Rats like when Pepper eat 'em. Rats are a treat, and Pepper gotta eat. As Pepper and the rat continue insisting I cook them, the rat's innards dangle like the broken strings of a marionette. A large, snot-like chunk of ooze falls from the carcass, nearly landing on my sock. Yeah, the narrative is really trying to emphasize how gross they are. Welp. Okay. The sides and back of my mouth reach for each other. A coppery taste coats my tongue. Vomit? Don't mind if I do. I swallow back the bile as my digestive tract tries to expel my breakfast all over Pepper. Let's go! Shimi shifts, impatiently cleaning one of the rats. The squish and tear of flesh being pulled away from meat cuts off my thoughts mid-sentence. Like the devil's Velcro, the repulsive sound causes my toes to curl. The narrative is effective. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. And Sylph, you're a vegetarian too, so it's like, it gotta be like extra gross to you. Like, welp. Anyway. Uh, Reaching into its abdominal cavity, Shimi pulls out. What is that? A worm? A piece of intestine? F, I think it's a worm. I swallow hard against my body's desire to visibly comment on the scene. Claudia smiles, rescuing the attention. She collects all 4 of the rats, stacking them on a large serving plate, which she places next to the sink. Piled high on the plate, the huge slimy mass is going to take up the entire sink. I'm going to miss that plate after we throw it away. Pepper's excitement is more than she can handle, causing her to run skipping and dancing out and around the backyard, then returning to the kitchen in a little circuit that both ends and begins with her making very angry faces at the rats. Ha! Nasty rat! Wrecked by sashimi cat! Pepper vents a lot of anger on the pile of deceased rodents. Wearing rubber dish gloves, I stare down 4 hideous rats waiting to be dissected. There are moments in your life where you do things you really don't want to, but you do them for someone because that's what a relationship is, give and take, compromise. Normally that would be like watching a show you're not very interested in, or going out when you'd rather stay home. This is Uncharted. This is effing rough, but Shimi's world is feral, and the feral world is rats, so... meat is meat, right? I tell myself, the pitch of my voice higher than normal. But reaching into the gooey mass, my stomach has a different opinion, and its urge to climb out of my mouth and spend the afternoon hiding under the bed caused me to temporarily step back from the work. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're actually thinking of grilling them on the barbecue, maybe taking them outside probably is might be the best move in any case. I mean, there was a comment about the eye-watering smell. Might not want that in the kitchen. Anyway, the rat with the can-shaped dent in its head is the first one I work on. Like cleaning a fish. No different. I lie. Puncturing its belly, the guts spill out slowly, dropping directly into the incinerator. The smell is distinctive, pungent, somewhere between composted cabbage and old urine. The reek wafts out, filling my sinuses and causing my eyes to water and itch. I have an urge to rub them, but with muck-covered gloved hands. Here's the deal, stomach. I promise to burn the gloves after I'm finished, and you won't puke right now. The insides of the rat are dark and slippery. They cling to the ribs and spine, making an effort to get a solid hold on them or yank them from the cavity. Meat is meat, right? Well, parasites can Very extreme species specific, sometimes 2 to 3 species, often species familiar and close with one another. Sure? Okay, but getting you fired up now? Yeah, it's, yeah, this game has taken a turn. We started this stream with very detailed description of aqueducts, and then got into, I don't know. I'm just gonna move on. Darker slippery. They cling to the ribs and spine, making an effort to get a solid hold on them or yank them from the cavity. I scrape out all of the innards, desperately convincing myself that nothing I'm grabbing is wormy, and quickly drop the offal right into the incinerator drain, or I try to. The gooey, slimy mess sticks to the glove, refusing to fall into the hole. I have to take turns picking it off of one gloved hand with the other. This would be comedic if it wasn't so revolting. Finally, the guts release from the gloves as a big, muddled mass and find the drain. The incinerator's venting fan hums to life. Unfortunately, wisps of smoldering rat guts now drift out of the drain, competing with the stench of the raw carcasses. This is fine. Fine. Oh hey, she learned another word. Inner conflict makes great viewing? Yeah. A turn was indeed had this day, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you missed the... before we got into this dissecting rat carcasses business here, there was there were a couple back-to-back scenes with very strong sexual undertones, and it was uncomfortable in a different way. um, anyway, let's move right along. Fine. Her whisper in my ear causes me to drop the rat I was holding. When did she move this close to me? Seems I have an audience now. All 3 Nikos crowd around watching me clean the rats. Better than TV, eh, Claudia? I weakly joke, attempting to distract myself as I peel the skin from muscle. Fibers cling, then release, ripping apart. Feels like peeling off a wet sock, and it makes a soft static-like tearing that resonates into my shoulder blades. Sing in the rain? Tail and fur follow the entrails into the incinerator. Now it's the fragrance of burning rat hair that fills my nose. Oh, that's lovely. Taylor Grace, I wish this Viet was less lewd. The monkey's paw curls a finger. There you go. That's how it goes, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I at this point I'm sort of, well, I mean, I'm wondering how much of it can he throw into the incinerator? Like, I would have, like, how does he even know which parts are edible? I guess I'm wondering. Yeah. Anyway, not soon enough. All four of the rats are skinned, cleaned, and ready for the grill. And yet, no less disgusting. The meat on the rats is thin and tough, sinewy. It's not red or pink like expected, but rather a ruddy scarlet gray. The Nikos don't seem put off in any way. I'm sure Claudia and Shimi can sense my unease. If Pepper can, she is too emotionally invested in the event to show it. I give the rats a long rinse in the sink and then a longer soak in some cooking wine. Some wine? Okay. 4 skinned and gutted rats slathered in olive oil, salt, black and red pepper, honey, mustard seed, and hidden under a generous amount of lemon slices sizzle on the grill. I'm doing my best to act normal, but there are rats on my grill. Needs more lemon slices. You can still see the rats. Pepper is still wound up, her impatience and excitement making her giddy as she orbits, skipping around the yard. She will sleep well tonight. Hey, Nemesis Darlin's here. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? What have I walked into? What have you walked into indeed? LMAO. Yeah, this whole thing is taken to a really weird turn. And yeah, what do I even say about this? We puts the rats in the bin to teach these Tikas lesson? I don't know. I mean, tossing him in the bin seems like an ungrateful way to respond to Shimi's apparent intended gift. uh, she's feeding his cat harem dead rats. Yeah. I don't know what to say at this point. It's an odd game. It's I don't know, an alternate world where there are cat girls. They're referred to as Nikos, and they're basically treated as second class citizens. I mean, not even second class citizens is overstating it. Really, they're seen as feral animals, despite the fact that they clearly have some intelligence. So they're yeah. It's like this. It's a society which treats them like they're animals, basically. Um, but yeah, and also they're rats of unusual size in this world, and one of them caught a bunch of rats, and the protag is engaging in the decidedly unsavory task of cooking them up because they seem to be expecting it. Just think of all the murder video games. Yeah, sure. The attempt is what counts. I'm sure. What about you feel obligated to explain? It's like your sense of morality can't turn off. Well, yeah. Um, well, yes. I mean, that's sort of my way to begin with. I mean, regulars on my channel know me for my Tormuse tangents, trademark, not actually trademarked, but yeah, I don't know. It's not the kind of game I would normally play. It came recommended, and I still have a lot of misgivings about it. I just Tormuse tangent favorite. Yeah, I just it I feel it. A lot of this makes me feel icky. I mean, not just okay, like aside from this thing about cooking up giant rats on a barbecue, uh, I was more troubled by all the sexualizing of the cat girls. It's just there's a like I was talking about earlier in the stream. It's just an icky feeling. Um, how protags, you know, the male protagonist, the unnamed male protagonist is his internal monologue is regularly sexualizes the girls who are portrayed, or at least in his mind, they're portrayed as like I don't know, like subhuman, sub-sentient creatures. Um, and it's just it's kind of icky. There's just a lot of um, it's a lot of I was gonna say like subtext implications, but it's more than subtext. I mean, he's outright talking about it on a regular basis. It's just sort of icky. I can only get through this by regularly commenting on it. I mean, Sylph, yes, as you say, I feel obliged to explain. Yeah, that's because I would feel even if I didn't stop to explain, I would feel even more uncomfortable than I do. That is very weird. Yeah, it's gross. Yeah, it's kind of icky. I'm 5 streams into this. I've had misgivings about this from the start. Um, Nico stuff will be sexual. Yeah. Uh, Stronger than I am. I would have added to my do not finish list. Yeah. I mean, no, same. Like, I mean, this is not the kind of thing I would play on my own. It's just uncomfortable. But hey, you know, like, um, maybe that discomfort is an opportunity to talk about things that don't normally get talked about. Um, yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's like it kind of comes back to what is I sort of feel like I'm repeating myself a lot this stream session, but what it comes back to is the tendency in, you see a lot of seen a lot of anime. I mean, it's not just anime, but it's very prevalent in a lot of anime. I think the tendency to for female characters to not be a part of their own sexuality, like to not be like I don't like I said before. I'll say it again. Like sex is not a bad thing. It's just the way it's being handled is uncomfortable because it's like um, let's talk that if everybody was decent enough to resist, what would the poor Nikos that want to be objectified do? Huh? Yeah, yeah. It's like I made the comparison to in the previous stream session. I used the phrase mandatory anime bullshit. like there's certain animes I can name which are otherwise very interesting and compelling plots and stories and characters, but then for no particular reason feel obligated to put gratuitous fan service, like close-ups of parts of women's body that were the audience is supposed to ogle or whatever, um, which again it's like it's one of those things I'm not trying to be a Puritan about it or anything. It's like I'm not saying sex is a bad thing. It's just um, the whole thing about uh, it would be it's one thing if there's a romantic relationship being depicted, and you know the men and the women are interested in each other and expressing their romantic or sexual attraction to each other. And it's another when it's just this one way thing, like this leering, ogling thing, and it feels icky, if that makes sense. I don't know. Mandatory anime bullshit. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that where you're suddenly thrust back 60 years. Yeah. Definitely people who want to be objectified, but it almost always goes hand in hand with trauma. Yeah, that's another part of it. No, true. People who have been, like sexually assaulted, or I mean, content warning for talk of sexual assault and rape, I suppose. People who've been like sexually assaulted, uh, especially at young ages, tend to grow up with weaker um, boundaries with that sort of thing, like knowing where do you draw the line about what's acceptable conduct from a partner and so on. Um, yeah, that's exactly it. Reciprocity is a huge difference. Yeah, exactly. Fortunately, anime makes it normal for female bodies to be objectified in the mind, which makes it very awkward and harder for women to participate in society as just humans. Yes, exactly. That's the troubling thing about it. And here in this game we have the society. There's never been any mention of cat boys in this. It's all cat girls. The Nikos. I don't. I there hasn't not been a single mention of it. I don't know if that's just a world building fail on the part of the makers of the story, or if that's just a deliberate choice, or what. Um, but it's just definitely this icky feeling of like, not only are they being objectified, but they're a race of beings that you don't have to care if they live or die. They have no rights. Um, like there's this thing made a big deal about like he found an injured Nico on his doorstep, and was reluctant to call a hospital because the medics will just put her down, because it isn't worth trying to save them. Um, and even Protag, who's more sympathetic to the Nikos sort of has to go through these levels of abstraction. Like one of them got hit by a car before the game started, and has to talk about like, well, I mean, they look almost human, so I guess it must be upsetting to hit one with a car, like, you know, like he has to frame it in this abstracted way in order to uh, even approach something close to sympathy or empathy about them, you know. And it isn't even, and he isn't even feeling empathy towards the creature that got hit. It's like I don't know. It just says a lot about how this game just treats him overall. But like I said, allegedly, supposedly, it's going somewhere with this. But you know, 5 stream sessions deep, like I'm still waiting for it to go somewhere. It's still doing the weird sexualizing about them, and it's just yeah, I don't know. I'm falling behind on chat here. Just as in they're sorry, so much more as in they're seen as bodies, not humans. Yeah, there are males in the world, Neos. If you say so, they have not been mentioned thus far. I don't think men are treated as humans either, to be fair. I think stuff like maid cafes in this game slows down women's rights. I mean, yeah. God, yeah, I'm not judging this game yet. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, like, I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing to portray a world like this in itself. I mean, hey, character arcs are a thing. Like it's like part of, you know, what one of the possible sources of enjoyment in you know, enjoying a piece of media is seeing characters develop over time. And you know, the character can't develop if he doesn't start off as a bit of an asshole, you know. He has to be has to like start out doing bad things so that he can learn to be better, right? But it's just like so many hours deep into this, and he's still his internal monologue keeps drifting into sexualizing these characters, and it's like it just it kind of doesn't it hasn't really let up so far. It's just and also along the same lines, if this is going, if the intended direction of the story is to go in the direction of like some kind of societal reform where they learn to you know, I don't know, have Nico rights and learn to treat them better, or at least have some amount of empathy for them or whatever. I mean, okay, cool. Then you have to. Obviously it becomes necessary to portray an unjust system, and you know, it's the framing of it that is troubling, because it so far it hasn't really framed them as bad, you know. Um, so if the intended direction or trajectory of the story is to go in a direction that says, hey, this how the Nikos is treated is bad, actually. It's taking its sweet time getting there. um, oh, hey, thanks thanks for the cheer there, Sylph. Bad person finds forgiveness sounds very 20th century, lol. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what direction this is going in. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna plow on. That's enough tangent for a moment. Pepper is still wound up, her impatience and excitement making her giddy as she orbits, skipping around the yard. She will sleep well tonight. The whole time Shimi watches us, staying only steps from the kitchen doorway. Her hair is tangled and wild, her shirt and hands are a mess, but she's back. She's back, and that makes everything alright. The thin meat is dense, making the split and flattened rodents heavier than expected. I have to use the tongs and the long barbecue fork to give each rat a flip. Hey Claudia, please watch the rats. Call me if they start to overcook, okay? I say that, knowing full well that I'm totally going to overcook the hell out of these rats. Who knows what kind of disease or germs they carry. Going to make very sure that anything on or in them dies long before any of us take a bite. Okay. Yeah. Is Protag actually going to eat one of the rats then? There's no redemption, just seeing how long you last this quality viewing. I considered that, you know? Like, hey, you know, either this is going to have some turn which makes all the discomfort that came before worth it, or it's not going to have such a term, and it's just going to be all uncomfortable all the time, and it'll give me extra things to talk about. and I don't know, maybe there's some quality entertainment in watching me squirm. Anyway, it's just going to be morality Iron Man. Yeah, there you go. Moving right along. Okay. Claudia smiles, happy as always to be helpful. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I said right at the very beginning from part one, or maybe it was part two. I said very early on, hey, at the end of the day, it comes down to the quality of the writer. I mean, you can do good writing with crappy material. It's doable. Like, like you know, coming from a crappy starting point. Um, the skill of a writer can you know turn any like dull sounding idea interesting or any like overdone idea turn it into a novel direction. You know, it's just a question of can Maddie do it? Maddie being the author of this thing. Anyway, moving right along. Shimi has vanished. My urge to find her is superseded by my now compulsive need to clean. I cleanse the floor, counters, sink, and anywhere else that rat may have touched. The whole time I'm kept company by happy pepper noises from outside and the soft hum of the incinerator under the sink. That incinerator will probably run for 2 days straight, slowly turning all the crap I just shoved down there into fine ash. If it were to break, we'd really be screwed. For a moment, I consider opening Shimi's can of crushed tomatoes to use as a base for an appropriate sauce or create a side dish, but even as skinny as the rats are, they are big enough that each will be a meal on its own. I do not want leftovers. Ugh. I dump the crushed tomatoes. What? I dump the crushed tomatoes down the drain and put the cleaned can into the recycling bucket. It seems like a waste of tomatoes. But, I mean... I mean, aren't you short of food? I mean, you had to pay all that money for Shimi's medical treatment. I would think you wouldn't want to waste them. Maybe to fight the smell? Yeah, maybe. It was dented in pretty good. If the tin had cracked anywhere, rat juice could have contaminated the crushed tomatoes. Better safe than sorry, I suppose. As always, Shimi suddenly being in the room comes without a whisper of warning. For a long moment, we simply regard each other. She's dirty again. She's smelly, has rat juice on her, and looks tired. I am so very happy to see you. Picking up on my joy, Shimi's manner softens. It's then I notice small fresh scratches on her forearms. They aren't serious, type of thing you might get from moving through thick brush, or maybe the result of hunting a small pack of rats that, if the tables were turned, could be hunting you. See me looking at her arms. Shimi steps forward, presenting and allowing me to examine them. Yeah, honestly, I would not want to take chance with a can of food that had been used to dent rat skulls. I mean, fair. Um, I don't know. I mean, you still could have cooked them. Mm-mm. Like I'll put a like a can of tomatoes in like when I'm making borscht, or sometimes I'll make like pasta sauce with tomatoes, and um, I don't know. Like you're cooking the rats, but apparently intending to eat them. Like surely you can cook the tomatoes too. I I love how she's wearing rat. What? I'm not sure what you mean by wearing rat. She's wearing his shirt and she's covered in blood from presumably from killing the rats. Rat blood. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along. Sending and allowing me to examine them. Well, I guess this is our thing. I gently take her arms in my hands and assess the superficial damage. I turn her arms over, examining her calloused palms and the softer flesh of her forearms. Her focus on me is intense. Amongst the ancient scars from her life in the wild, the cuts and scratches are hardly worth noticing. But that's not why we're doing this. Good news, I think he'll live. My humor is wasted on Shimi. Worse, the joke momentarily brings back a shudder. Holding her fevered body, refusing to surrender to the shadows when her wounds nearly did cost her her life. I focus on the healthy girl with me here and now. Shimi allows me to guide her hands to the freshly scrubbed sink. I wash her hands and arms. The soap and warm water quickly cleanses away the dirt of several days. She watches me with a curious and contented look. Yeah, the blood is visibly removed from her. Okay. I pull the baby wipes from Goro's medical bag and clean Shimi's forehead, cheeks, nose, and neck. She lets me. The easy flick of Shimi's short tail tell me she's enjoying her well-earned bit of pampering. Sorry. The line "she lets me" is giving me flashbacks. I'm just thinking back to that I'm gonna say problematic DDLC mod, Brand New Day, where like all of the romantic in massive air quotes scenes had the line along the lines of like I kiss her and she doesn't resist, or I hold her and she doesn't resist, and like it has the phrase "and she doesn't resist" tacked on to like every such line, and it's like, wow, this says a lot about the author of this mod. Like this is his fantasy that of girls that don't resist him, you know. Oh, I thought you were referring to the part where his hand got caught and bled out a bit when he tried to pet her ear earlier. Oh, I mean, there's that too, but I don't know. I mean, yes, in the context of this, "she lets me" it is, I guess, it is a reference to that earlier scene where she grabbed his wrist when he tried to rub her ear, very very unprompted and clearly non-consensually. Maybe he's trying to tell himself his fantasies are okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. um, yeah. No, no. I mean, I think that's pretty much the long and the short of it. There, he's yeah. Anyway, moving right along. She lets me. The easy flick of Shimi's short tail tell me she's enjoying her well-earned bit of pampering. She's cleaner, but the earthy fragrance of forest and the greasy smell of rat still hang about her. Cora's medical bag is overkill, but as long as we're playing the game, a little cream to rub onto her arms is appropriate. She sighs as my fingers massage the antibiotic lotion onto her skin. A few small adhesive bandages offer nothing beyond a cosmetic extension of our moment. Oh, for goodness sake, Protag! If you were my girlfriend, I'd do something silly like offering to kiss your boo-boo to make it better. Wait, why does your mind keep going in these directions? Your internal monologue has continually referred to them as though they are non-sentient animals, and now you're saying stuff like this. If you were my girlfriend, gosh darn it. Okay, anyway. Shimi moves, pressing against me. I'm taken aback to when I caught her showering in the rain, reliving the erotic moment. You even used the word erotic there. Erotic moment that nearly ballooned out of control in the bathroom. It's not just the girlfriend direction, it's it's the infantilization. Yeah! So much of that. There's so much infantilization uh, going on. And you know, like, I mean, I mentioned the weird power dynamics in this, like right at the beginning, and Sylph, you made the comment, oh, all relationships have weird power dynamics. No, not like this. Not like in this game. Anyway, moving on. However, this time she's dressed and I'm not feeling cornered. Without the panic, the clumsy affection from Shimi is quite appealing. While my attention is still on her arms, Shimi's breath on my neck makes me start to feel flush. So wait, feel flush? Was that supposed to say feel flushed? Perhaps? Feel flush feels like a typo. Anyway. Oh my. My surprise causes her to laugh. The sound catches both of us off guard. Shimi's laugh is a single note, high, short, and raspy. This is the first time I've heard her laugh. By her expression, it may be the first time she's laughed, ever. Burns, now! Claudia's warning that our rats are getting crispy means our moment has to end, or maybe not end, but pause till later. The reality again presents itself. Am I really considering eating rat? Goro would be into it for the story you could tell after. Me, it would make me pay for even suggesting it. Meat is meat. Meat is meat and a man's gotta eat. I heard that once somewhere. I can't remember where, but it seems appropriate for the situation. Still not convinced about this whole idea. I set up a picnic in the backyard, even cooked. The less rat in the house, the better. Claudia brings out a blanket at my request, and we all set ourselves on it. Each of us with not enough plate for too much rat. Well, yeah, and that's the other thing with this. Like, not just the infantilization, but the fact that he can give them orders and they understand, like they understand enough English that he can give them commands and they'll obey. You know, it's um, like they all defer to him. He's the one in charge. He's the one that pays the bills, and it's well, pays the bills. He's unemployed and gets he's just getting insurance money from his dad's fatal accident. But which is, you know, the whole contrived story thing for why he's able to just spend all day every day with his Mikos. um, but what was I saying? Um, yeah, you know, it's how do I put it? Um, it's a work of fiction, you know. As such, whatever happens is, you know, like the writer can make anything they want to happen. And like, I get the impression that Maddie is catering to a certain demographic that has a very particular fantasy about women um, who are subservient, who don't talk back, because they don't even have language to even actually communicate, or at least communicate in very simple sentences. Um, but you know what I mean? Like, not only are they there just to be ogled and treated in a sexual way, but also um, they are subservient, and you don't have to care about their rights. You don't have to care about their lives. Um, like it's just this. I don't know. Like even though he's this total loser who's he's a loner and unemployed and so on. NEET is, like, I believe is the term, NEET. No employment, education, or training. Um, Very broad mixture of infantilization, objectification, and master servant kinks. Yeah, the master servant kinks. Yes, that's what I was trying to get at there. Like Sylph mentioned maid cafes earlier. I guess me checking myself for just how much I judge desires I don't share. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm sure I'm coming across as very, very judgmental in this stream. Um, I don't know. I just have I'm very opinionated. I have my um I have my preferences. Like, if I'm gonna be in a relationship with someone, I want it to be, a more or less equal partnership. And this whole master servant thing is just I don't know. It's just uncomfortable to me. Someone, oops, sorry. Someone in the BDSM community, I try not to judge anyone, but there are certain kinks that should be judged. I'm the setup. Sorry, what? Can be judgmental. There's a question of consent with a level of power mouse. Yes. Sorry, Bork reply. Yeah, I get the idea. I think. Um, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Um, hey, like, even in BDSM, there are rules. There's still um, consent is still important. If anything, in BDSM, consent is more important. You have to clearly communicate what's allowed. And this gets into a whole other topic. Instantly, there's an ad break coming up in 3 minutes, so I'll try to. Okay, I have to get this Turby's tangent out in the next 3 minutes. But no, like it's um like for example, like hold on. Yeah, there are certain levels of imbalance, but consent is the number one rule. Oh yeah, exactly. This is one of those things, like that's why it's a problem that, like, the books and movie like 50 Shades of Grey got popularized. They like popularized a very problematic concept of BDSM. I haven't read the books. I haven't watched the movies. I've just seen some video reviews of them, and read stuff about them and so on. In fact, they can't communicate clearly. It's extremely concerning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, no, 'cause the thing is, right, when it comes to BDSM being, bondage, domination, sadomasochism, you're being kinky or whatever. Um, if you're doing that sort of thing with your partner in the bedroom, like, man, I might have to age gate this video. I'm trying to keep it PG-13 here. Um, but yeah, like, no, but really, if you're doing that sort of thing, whatever, between consenting adults, everything's fair game. But you have to agree and clearly communicate these things, because consent to one thing is not consent to all things. Like, even if you agree, yeah, let's do some, I don't know, kinky BDSM stuff and, you tie me up and dominate me, yada, 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 there still have to be established rules and communication about what's allowed in that circumstance. Communication, consent to one thing is not consent to all things. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, even if, and that's the problem with, like, with the way 50 Shades of Grey handled it, is that uh, the the main male character in that, I believe his name is Christian Grey. He does a lot of really abusive stuff, which is just straight up abuse, but tries to pass it off as, oh, I'm just being kinky. Oh, this is just BDSM. Oh, you know, there's nothing wrong with this. And like, people from the actual BDSM community are like, no, don't call that BDSM. That's just abuse. You're being abusive. That's bad. You know, there are lines you don't cross. um, yeah, the fact that they can't communicate is concerning. So a really difficult question around whether it's good to deny someone romance because they have unrelated disadvantages. That's a topic too. Incidentally, there's an ad break. It's imminent. It might interrupt me. I'll pause the game when it comes on, but I want to catch up on chat at least here. Clash with the BDSM community there. Not in consent, but about safe words. Not necessarily about denying someone romance, but recognizing that they are at a disadvantage and therefore can't participate in certain things. Yeah, there you go. Raising a child, sure, my ex worked as a psychiatric hospital and patients slept together. Ad break in progress. I'll be right back. And I'm back again. Sorry, I gotta catch up on chat now. Raising a child, sure my ex worked at a psychiatric hospital and the patients love sleeping together? Yeah, that could raise all kinds of ethical issues, yeah. Jimmy's right about interesting conversations, yeah. So what happens when people with strong morals and ethics play games that contradict them? I mean, sure. Does open up opportunities to talk about them even if they're uncomfortable, which is good. Yeah, it makes for conversation starters, so it serves a purpose in that. So yeah, it's all good. Love to see someone with troubling views play a game where these conversations come up in chat too. Certainly interesting to listen in on. Yeah, thanks, Diablo. It's always fun having the awkward conversations around topics that are typically considered hush hush. Yeah, exactly. It's an opportunity. No, exactly. Regarding BDSM community, I didn't clash as in judge or anything. I just hate how some people treat not having / needing safe words as irresponsible. Well, I mean, what do I say to that? It's it's going to depend on the individual and the individuals involved, I suppose. Um, I guess it also depends on it depends on your temperament. It depends on what kind of activities you're engaging in. There's a whole lot of it depends. Like, um, I sort of feel like the concept of safe words is a good idea, but it's like um, I don't think there's a hard line about it. It's it's whatever the individuals in question that are participating in the activity agree on. You know, there's no set in stone rule about it. um, but yeah. Anyway, not having needing not having / needing a safe word requires the deepest level of open communication. Yes, there you go. Never met someone that I would not require a safe word from. Yeah, yeah. It's it's called a safe word because it's about safety. You know. My take was that without a sexual assault fantasy, nothing wrong. That might be the most common. There's zero need. My safe words are no, stop, etc. Safe word is there because sometimes you access a traumatic memory that you did not know you had, and depending on what triggered it, you may need a way out, if a hard way out, if that makes sense. Yes, there you go. Yeah, Nemesis. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like that's particularly for people with like traumatic histories, especially if it comes to sexual assault and whatnot. Um, they might not know what their boundaries are. Sometimes you don't know where your own boundary is until someone crosses it. You know, um, and like relationships can get messy, in that way. Like even if everyone has good intentions, um, like that some kind of some like slip ups happen where um, you might have some traumatic response triggered without realizing that that was a thing that could happen. Um, but yeah, I guess when I tell someone to stop, I don't need to say bananas or something. Yeah. Learn that the hard way? Yeah, which part? Oh, you mean about the trigger traumatic responses? Yeah. No, that's so true. No and stop should be enough, but for some people, having that one word read is a comfort blanket for them. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. But it comes back to it, like I was saying, like it's kind of it comes down to what you as individuals participating in the activity agree to. Um, yeah, like I'm reminded, like there was uh, 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 um, there was a folding ideas video. Folding ideas is a YouTuber, a Canadian YouTuber actually, who does like video essays on sometimes sociopolitical topics, sometimes like film analysis and like media analysis stuff. Anyway, he did a video about there's a cartoon show called Tuca and Birdie, which I'm not familiar with, but uh, it was he did a fascinating analysis about that whole concept of not knowing where your boundaries are until someone crosses them, and the messy process of figuring these things out in yourself, and while also communicating them with your romantic partner. Um, and basically he goes on about how this cartoon did a better job of explaining those messy relationship and power dynamics better than the whole entirety of 50 Shades of Grey. He also did a fantastic analysis breakdown takedown of the 50 Shades of Grey movies and books as well. They're a very entertaining watch, certainly. But yeah, no, the Tuca and Birdie thing, it was an interesting video. It's oh dear, I'm falling behind in chat again. um, Okay, so your boundaries crossed where you get triggered. I get that. That's not a part I struggle with. My difficulty lies around the need to encode the withdrawal of consent. Why isn't plain language enough? Um, like yeah. Why isn't plain language enough? It depends. It depends on the situation. Depends again. It depends on what kind of uh, uh, scene you're doing. Like my understanding again, I'm not into BDSM myself. I've not participated in that sort of thing. I'm just aware of the concept that um, like the one thing I have read somewhere is like they'll have different code words to represent um, okay, how do I put this? Uh, yeah, my understanding is that frequently, um, like the BDSM thing is it's a bit of role play. It's a bit of play acting in a way. Um, like regardless of what you might be like in your regular day to day life, like when you're in this bedroom BDSM kind of scene, you're sort of taking on another persona. Like one person is dominating the other or whatever because they either they they either get some enjoyment out of being the dominant one, or they get some enjoyment out of being in a submissive position where with someone that they trust and care about. um, because it's just some fun or cathartic or otherwise enjoyable or whatever experience for them. So there is like there is some on some level some sort of I don't want to say it's play acting. I guess it's sort of play acting going on. You're acting in ways you wouldn't normally do in regular day to day life. Um, so for some people, it's important to have some code word or phrase to signal that okay, this is not part of the scene. This is not part of our play acting. This is me trying to end the scene now. Um, and hey, if plain language is enough for some people, and saying no, stop, or whatever, cool. You do you. But uh, again, it depends on the scene, or whatever you're doing. Like part of it. Okay. Um, like Nemesis mentioned the word red earlier. I have heard that it's popular for some people in that. How did we get on this topic? The BDSM community, they'll say yellow to mean slow down, or red to mean stop, because sometimes like you're in that situation that your partner is doing something which is too intense for your liking, and you don't want to stop the scene because uh, 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 that's its own thing, but maybe you just want them to slow down, um, and having a code word for that is I don't know, it has a different energy to it than uh, just saying the words slow down or stuff. I don't know. I probably shouldn't comment on that too much on that. I'm okay, I'm going by what I've heard from other people, because I'm not part of that community. Like different people are going to have different needs for how to communicate that sort of thing without breaking the role play, I guess. Anyway, I feel relatively confident that the reason safe words are so ubiquitous is because sexual self-fantasy is just assumed. Saying about good intentions and then relationships and crossing lines that you didn't know you had. Yeah. Unfortunately, have other people. Shit. Got a hard lesson there. Sorry to hear that. Oof. I'm in the role of dominant. I also maintain my own safe word, so we both have one. Okay. Because even on the side of the dominant, you can find triggers you didn't realize you had and need an immediate way out. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, which makes sense. Yeah. Makes appreciate it. Yeah. Safe words aren't just I withdraw consent. It's like taking a bucket of cold water and shocking the system out of whatever scenario is going on. It immediately, or at least it should, snap both parties out of the scene and into caretaker mode. Yes, yeah. The caretaker mode that's another thing. Because aftercare, I'm reliably informed, is an important part of BDSM. Like whatever dominant submissive thing you have going on during the scene, it is important to check in afterward and say, hey, are you doing okay? Was that okay? Were there any points where I crossed the line or whatever? Like having some kind of aftercare talking about the afterward is also important, because again, communication is so important. um, like you might not want to talk during the scene about it in a way that breaks the emotion catharsis or whatever it is you're looking for in the scene. um, but that makes communication before and after all the more important. I totally see what you mean. If people are saying you need a safe word because without one, some dominant will mistake your withdrawal of consent for role play, as in you get raped, they may have an excuse. No means yes in BDSM. I've been victim of that horribly. Oh, really? That never seems to be the angle people are making. Valuable insight, thank you. Yeah, Tormies, the point is, if we're On to Rape Fantasies, stop please is a bucket of cold water, yeah? Yes, in vanilla settings, stop and no are really all you should need, yeah. Thesem isn't something I'm comfortable with myself. Yeah, fair enough. Hey, it's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. If it's not your thing, that is perfectly valid. And I'm sure you'll have no problem finding other people who are also not into it. So it's all good. I'm not going to judge you if you like it or not. Yeah, no, same. Yeah, I'm not even saying I necessarily. I'm not. Maybe this is too much disclosure. I'm not even necessarily saying I would never do something like that. It's just not something I've ever done. So I can only give like secondhand accounts of it from stuff I've read and so on. But yeah, communication, consent, very important. I mean, it's important in any kind of sexual interaction, but it's especially important when it comes to the BDSM stuff. The other reason safe words are used in BDSM is because in the position of submissive, there can be so many endorphins being released that communication is extremely difficult. Yes, yeah, and having a one word out can be necessary. Yeah, yeah, is the other part of it there. Yeah, get that it isn't for many. My point is safe words are only necessary because of people with rape fantasies. That's one point I start thinking maybe people need to check their kinks if they're causing them to rape people because they're so used to being with rape fantasists they assume it. I mean, whether or not rape fantasies are being involved in the scene, safe words are harmless. I don't think it's doing any harm to have a safe word. Like, if if you really don't want a safe word and both parties agree to not have a safe word, okay, fair enough. But I, like I whether or not it's necessary to have it. I mean, I don't think it does any harm if I don't think it does any harm if I don't know, too many people are using safe words. It's like that's not a really bad problem to have, you know. If anything, probably I would suspect that people are underusing safe words rather than overusing them. So you know what I mean? Like I don't see that as something that I just don't see it as something to take issue with if people are overusing them, you know. Next reason I think adding and encoding behind withdrawal of consent is messed up. I thought Termes said that, not that message. My message to Termes should have been to you, Nemesis. Sorry. Fantasy is one that I judge and will not participate in because it is directly connected to trauma and requires therapy. That is not something that should be kinked. Yeah. Yeah. No. I gotta agree with you there, Nemesis, darling. No, it's I've heard people refer to they call it a non-con kink, like you know a kink of non-consensual whatever, and like that sort of makes me deeply uncomfortable. That you're trying to make it sound like a kink, but it's like no, you're talking about rape there. That's that's not a kink. That's some you're it's not something the BDSM community wants to be conflated with, you know. Anyway, this is too much disclosure. I think we're way out of the classic gangsters here. Haha, sure. So the fantasy, why doesn't no throw water on things is my point. I get that I'm not connecting here. I get you're saying Sylph, don't worry about it. There's too many people use safe words, that's the reason. Hmm? In my eyes, too many people use safe words, that's the reason I got hurt? I'm not sure where you're coming from there, Sylph. So there's just one more way to make sure that communication is clear. Well, probably, yeah. Sharing, NCC, sure, yeah. That was a no-go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I told someone to stop. She assumed I was acting. Oh dear. I'm sorry, self. Pretty sure she knew. She had a bulletproof excuse. Um, yeah. The only person that excuse is bulletproof is for her, and that aft. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm sorry, self. I'm sorry I'm sorry that that happened to you. I'm not quite clear on how that translates into and therefore too many people use safe words. I would think that's the opposite. But let me put a downer on things. Hey, I'm generally open to people talking about whatever. I don't think I don't think we've skewed in any direction that's gonna, I don't know, violate Twitch terms of service or anything. But I think we're still in the clear. Um, um, this is why safe words are encouraged. It sucks that it has to be a thing, but even in vanilla settings, using one can just be a way to clear boundary. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it might want to HK though. Yeah. Yeah. No, it obviously like it comes to like consent and safe words and so on in some kind of sexual setting. Like it what am I trying to say here? Um, it does assume good faith on on the part of everyone participating in it. Like if it sort of assumes that the other person means well. Like if the other person doesn't mean well and they're there to hurt you, or 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 whatever. Um, I mean, no amount of safe words or whatever is going to help, but I don't know. Safe words weren't so commonly used. She couldn't claim that she interpreted no stop as role playing. Um, I'm okay. I I mean, sure, I'll use them with a partner that wants or needs safe words. I feeling are that we're bending over backwards with code language and orphans be damned to pander to the people who like it when no stop means continue. See, okay, yeah, I hear what you're saying there, Sylph. I don't see that as translating into and therefore we shouldn't use safe words. Like it still comes back to you know two or possibly more people in a situation. I mean, usually it's going to be two, I suppose. Um, it's something that no one exists. This person, she would have used that excuse no matter what, and she would have found a way to make an excuse, and that effing sucks. I mean, yeah. Um, yeah, like, I, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to think how to word this. Like, first of all, like, I'm very sorry that again, I'm very sorry that happened to yourself. I'm like I'm not trying to make this sound like, oh, you should have yada 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 or whatever. It's just that it's I sort of feel like you're kind of maybe not taking the correct lesson from that experience. That sounds a horrible thing to say. I mean, if you're taking that experience and turning it into, oh, safe words are becoming too ubiquitous and there people are using them too much. Um, the thing is, like from context, it sounds like you and your partner in that case did not discuss a safe word ahead of time. And if that's the case, then she can't claim that, oh, you didn't use a safe word, so therefore I assumed no stop didn't mean no stop. She is you're talking about it in bad faith. As Nemesis expressed, if she's an abusive person, she's gonna abuse you regardless of whether there was a safe word used or not, and that's on her. Like, if that's what she intended to do, then she fucking sucks. Excuse my language, and that's on her. But like, if she made an excuse that, oh, it's because I thought we were going to use a safe word, like that's bullshit. Like she was from what you're saying, it sounds like she intended to hurt you anyway. Um, and anything else is rationalizing after the fact. Um, I don't think that safe words being too ubiquitous was a factor in any of that. I don't think, you know what I mean? It's like it's like safe words are like they're like content warnings. Like 90% of the public doesn't care about content warnings. They're there for the benefit of the 10% who do feel a need for them and are thankful for them. Because some people don't want to see certain content, or they need to prepare themselves and be in the right headspace to be able to deal with that content. Like content warning doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, people affected by this aren't going to want to engage with the material. It's just extra layer of uh, what am I trying to say here? Like content warnings. What I was trying to make the comparison, like safe words and content warnings and things like that. They're there to be an extra added benefit, which people don't necessarily need, but they're helpful nonetheless, and they don't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have a safe word. It doesn't hurt to have a content warning. Like, there's no drawback to having a safe word. There's no drawback to having content warnings or like it's I hope I'm making sense. uh, like I'm sorry. I hope I don't come across as insensitive or anything. I don't see how any part of your experience translates into, and therefore safe words are getting too big, ubiquitous, and people shouldn't use them so much. Like, if anything, I get the opposite message that safe words are more important. Um, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting a different takeaway from your experience. And again, I'm not trying to minimize what you went through or anything, but I'm just taking it a different direction, I guess. Even with safe words, if you haven't both communicate that no isn't no, it should always be no. I mean, yeah. The only one here that had done don't do NCC. I read the vibes. No malice, no offense. Okay, cool. Yeah. She took full advantage and was at fault. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, she can claim that though. Just ask 100 Kingsters whether safe words of BDSM are normal. Hmm? Yeah, but okay, even if she claims that, even if she claims that, oh, BDSM, safe words in BDSM are normal, and therefore I assumed that wasn't a safe word. I'm sorry, no, that's bullshit, because you still would have had to discuss a safe word ahead of time in order for that excuse to have any kind of logical sense. Her excuse is bullshit. Like, it sounds like she just wanted to abuse you and was going to reach for any excuse she could, and it's bullshit. She is not engaging in good faith. If her excuse is that, oh, safe words are too common, bullshit. I don't believe it. I don't believe her for a second. Yeah. That was not on you, that was on her. Yeah, it was on her. It was, yeah, like, yeah. She can claim it, but using that as an excuse when safe words weren't discussed between you two still means she knew that no meant no. Exactly. Exactly. What Nemesis said there. Got to a point where if you don't use safe words, you're the oddity that needs to declare your outside status. Um, I mean, okay. Yeah, no in that instance becomes your safe word. Exactly. If you don't use safe words, then the no means no. Period. And more than that, one no is enough. You shouldn't have to say no more than once. You say no once and that should end it. Like in the absence of safe words. You know? This isn't about safe words, it's about she's abusive and had no intention of respecting you or your boundaries with or without safe words involved, period. Exactly. There you go. Way to go, Nemesis. I need to I need to can I can I use it to give a cheer for that's something you supposed there anyway. Totally right, and given the way I reacted differently than I've ever reacted before, I'm sure she knew, but when a court hears that we're both into BSM and I was saying no, they can understand how that could be interpreted as roleplay. Yeah, no, and that sucks in itself. The fact that society has such a weird view of such a messed up view of BDSM and consent and sexual assault and all that in general that's a societal problem, and the whole thing where sexual assault and rape cases are they're the one crime out of all the crimes in the world where they investigate the victim more than the perpetrator. And yeah, society likes to give lip service to, oh, rape is bad, but they do a lot to protect and defend rapists, and it's messed up, and it's a big problem, and our society generally does not take these crimes seriously enough. Um, so yeah, like if we're talking about court cases, yeah, that is that is a very unfortunate reality that we live in, and it's messed up. They have twisted views of consent and so on. And yeah, anyway, man, maybe I should turn this to a just chatting stream. I'll get back to the game sooner or later. I haven't caught up with chat yet. It's still popping off here, so to speak. Hmm. At least one drawback: in the heat of the moment, you might call out stop rather than processing the code language necessary to stop the scene. That there are no advantages to safe words outside of the pansy. Other things are focusing on me. Wasn't focusing there. Sorry, we are still discussing safe words. It's just been combined with your incident. Yes, yeah. But I don't want to pull focus. Safe words are simply a safety blanket that's 100% clear communication. I hate that they are necessary, but because there are so many abusers who are drawn to the community, it is something that should always be used, even if you don't feel you should be one. Yeah, plus, I think it's worth noting that if you're someone who has a history of trauma and feel that safe words are a must, and you go to you have a new partner and you say, hey, let's talk about safe words, and your partner says, I don't need safe words. We don't need safe words. There's a red flag for you right there. It's like, haha, this person's not going to respect me, and I can safely nope out of this. I'm just, If we're not going to talk about safe words, we're not doing this. You know, uh, like, uh, yeah, there's so many abuses that are drawn to the community. Yeah, something that should always be used, even if you don't feel like you need it. I read that. I can totally do sexual assault fantasies. I'm honestly not judging people who are into it. I can be, but I don't expect everyone else to adhere to the difficulties surrounding my kind. Sorry, I didn't mean to reply. Judging someone as a red flag because they don't need safe words is messed up. Well, okay, you say it's messed up, but I'm sorry, Sylph. Um, how do I put this? This is about safety. It's about safety. It's about your personal safety. There are, I'm sorry, like there's some bad people out there. Um, there are people who are not going to respect boundaries. There are people who are, you know, rapists and who are going to hurt you, and you have to protect yourself. And you know, like choosing to not put up with a red flag like that, like someone scoffing at safe words, is a reasonable precaution because you don't get a do-over. If someone like if you end up in a sexual sorry, this is going to sound horrible. If you're in a situation where someone rapes you, you don't get a do-over and go, oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were that sort of person. Let's undo that. You know, like prevention is like what's that? I was saying, like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Like it's better to not let it happen in the first place than to take that risk. Like you can say it's messed up, Sylph, but like it's about safety. It's like I'm sorry, like it's important to protect yourself. Let's end up replying to the wrong message. Yeah, I mean the chat is kind of moving. I mean it's not moving super fast, but it's moving fast enough that it's easy to click on the wrong message. Yeah, bad people don't hear stop in miracles any more than they hear stop and stop. You know that's victim shaming, though I. Hmm? You know that's victim shaming, though I really think you do. I'm sorry. Are you saying I'm victim shaming? It's not my intention to do victim shaming. Like the I mean, okay, sorry. I mean, just to be clear, like if one person rapes another, the rapist is the bad guy there, or bad girl, bad individual. Um, I'm not blaming the victim of the assault there, or trying to shame them. I'm not saying that they're bad or wrong or anything. Um, but you know, everyone can take steps to you know to try to protect themselves whenever they can. Not wanting to use a safe word doesn't mean that aren't into SA. It can mean they're normal and act in good faith, but it can also mean they aren't interested in respecting boundaries and are looking for an easy excuse. Thank you, Nemesis. Um, no, thank you for something that's what I was trying to get at, and you put it a lot more succinctly than I did. Thank you. um, to be clear, when I talk about red flags, I don't mean red flag means this is an obvious bad person, like obviously a bad person or something. Like it's not meant as a judgment on the person so much as um, it is an indicator of possible bad intentions. Like I'm not like nobody's a mind reader, nobody's the thought police, you know. Um, like I don't know what they're thinking, but a reluctance to respect a simple request for a safe word is an indicator that they're not going to respect other things too. You know, it's when I say it's a red flag, I mean it is a significant indicator that could point to other details. You know, um, as Nemesis says, it could be someone who's looking for an easy excuse, like, you know, Sylph's aforementioned partner. um, but yeah, no, I'm definitely I, I'm not trying to shame victims or anything, or you know, brush off well-meaning people as bad people if they're you know, so, you know. Anyway, hold on. What do you got here? Do you never feel like challenging that the notion that assuming that your partner isn't going to interpret? Sorry. Do you never feel like challenging that the notion that assuming that your partner isn't going to interpret no as yes is bad faith? If someone is acting in bad faith, safe words prevent rape, right? I don't understand how they help. I know I'm an outlier here. I'm trying to understand that outside of SA fantasies, safe words prevent or make safe. Someone's acting bad faith, safe words don't prevent rape. Yeah, as you say, if someone is acting in bad faith, safe words don't prevent rape. No, I don't think anyone is disputing that, Self. Um, oh, correct self if it is someone acting in bad faith, safe words don't asking what they help. Well, okay. I mean, Nemesis can probably answer this better than I can. Because BDSM scenes aren't my thing, but um, there is, it's like how do I put this? It's like there's another layer of breaking the immersion in the scene that you're participating in. It sends it has a I don't know how to explain it except for saying like it has a different energy to it. It has a different um, has a different connotation to it using the safe word. It has a different uh, 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 meaning to it beyond um, uh, a simple no or stop. Um, as Nemesis put it earlier, it's a signal to switch to aftercare mode. You know, to switch to caretaker mode. Um, can plenty of things can name plenty of things they hinder. Majority of scenarios where a safe word is used and discussed beforehand, it requires a level of communication where a safe word will rarely be used because triggers have been discussed on a level that isn't usually discussed in normal conversation. Hmm. Sorry, I'm just rereading that to just take it in. Requires a level of communication where a safe word will rarely be used because triggers have been discussed on a level that isn't usually discussed in normal conversation. Yeah. So it goes beyond just having a safe word. Yeah. Breaking the immersion in the scene isn't achieved by someone saying stop, then someone has sexual fantasy, which is fine, but I'd want them to tell me. Requires communication on both ends, so triggers and kinks are communicated by both parties. Totally agreed there. I've never asked to stop except when being attacked. Sorry. Man, the stream may have gone a little off the rails here. What do I even say to this? I I I have to confess, like I am at least slightly out of my depth here in talking about this because I am not part of the BDSM community. I'm only going by um, conversations with friends who are in that community and you know, content from like blog posts or you know, social media posts or videos on the subject that I've read about it. Um, so I am by no means an expert in it. Um, um, I apologize for I think it's realized. It's fine. You know what? It's fine to have an actual conversation going on here for once. Usually it's just me yammering at the webcam here. Um, if anyone feels awkward, I'm sorry for my part, and I'm in a safe headspace right now, perfectly jovial. That's good. Okay, I'm glad you're in a safe headspace still. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. No worries. Yeah, cool. Enjoying discussing it here. Thank you, but I'd shut up the second someone felt funny. But I was worried it might have been triggering you if I do have, but I do have to back out of the conversation for a second. Need to get some chores done before work. Fair enough. Yes, if you need to go nemesis, by all means do so. Are you a safe space term? I'm okay. Um, I want to make sure everyone else is okay before I get back to the game. I do have a game on the screen here, where I was reading out reading out the content of this silly, sexy cat girl thing. Is very chatting with you? Yeah. I'm glad everyone is doing okay. This has been a heavy topic. I'm definitely putting content warnings on the VOD when I put this on YouTube. Um, yeah, I love it. It's like an aftercare roll call. Yeah, and yeah, the crazy. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for checking in, TFO. Yes, no, this has been a heavy topic. Um, yeah, I haven't. I'm sorry to say, Silpha, you haven't changed my mind about the whole um, safe word topic. Like I don't see how it's a bad thing. Like when compared to like okay, I mean I can sort of see it might make things awkward in some cases, but um, like having some momentary awkwardness compared to personal safety, like I think personal safety has to weigh more heavily. Because at the end of the day, it is about safety and you know, making sure people that are participating in the activity like feel safe. And I don't just mean physical safety, like mental and emotional safety are part of it too. Um, because when people are engaged in sexual intimacy, it's a very vulnerable position, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally and psychologically. Um, like there are a lot of factors at play in there, and like if you really don't feel a need for safe words in your um, you know, in your that sort of intimacy, then okay, you know, fair enough. I mean, I've never used a safe word in any sexual interaction that I've ever had. I mean, I don't do BDSM stuff, but like if you don't feel a need for it, okay, you know, no judgment or anything. Um, but some people do feel a need for it for whatever reason. Um, and at the end of the day, safety has to trump whatever awkwardness or discomfort come with the concept of safe words. Oh, I've been here mostly had to step away for a bit a couple times, but this was mostly getting out of my depth to want to jump in and speak my opinions on. Fair, completely fair, Diablo. um, I, you think you're out of your depth? Yeah. What have we here? Bad because one, confused sub might be half conscious and forgetting about the special code language. Two, rapists get away with it because safe words are normal. Three, people who have dishonesty triggers are excluded when no doesn't mean no, and more to the point, I wasn't trying to convince you, I wanted you to convince me. I wanted to know how they helped outside of sexual assault. You say safety, I don't see how it's safe other than a label. Okay. Um, let's see. And some maybe actions. Do, 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 do. Okay, well, okay, let's go through these in order. I mean, number one, I mean, like you're not going to be able to account for everything in this sort of scenario, even with well-meaning people engaging in good faith. Um, sometimes sometimes bad things happen without meaning to. So it is possible to hurt someone without meaning to. That's why aftercare and communicating about it after the fact is super important. Um, so yeah, number one, I don't see as being an argument against safe words. Two, rapists get away with it because safe words are normal. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. Um, like, no, that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with safe words. Sorry. No, but like society has collectively has messed up ideas about rape and sexual assault and how to treat victims. Um, Safe words don't enter into that. That has nothing to do with it. Three, people who have dishonesty triggers are excluded when no doesn't mean no, and more to the dishonesty triggers are excluded when no doesn't mean no. Like what? I don't. Again, I don't see how that factors into safe words being bad. Like if you can you can use it as an like having a safe word doesn't mean that no ceases to mean no. Like you can use both. You can use the safe word and say no. Say them both. Why not? Like I don't see how this translates into being an argument against safe words. Like this does not seem to logically follow. Or the point, I wasn't trying to convince you, I wanted you to convince me, you wanted to know how they help outside sexual assault. You say safety, I don't see how it's safe other than a label. I I mean, I can't speak to the psychology of people from that community. Incidentally, there's an ad break coming up in 2 minutes. Sorry, I'll just try to finish up what I'm saying here. Maybe after the ad break, I'll be able to actually get back to the game. But yeah, like I can't speak for the community. Like I'm trying I'm trying my best to speak for them anyway. Maybe inexpertly, but I'm doing my best with the tools, the knowledge that I have. Um, some people say it helps them, and you know what? That's good enough for me. I know it's not a compelling argument, um, but if you haven't been convinced by anything that I said and anything Nemesis said thus far, I don't expect anything else I could possibly say would convince you. You are welcome to believe whatever you wish to believe. If they're not Good points. Please call me out. I hear you say good point to everyone. Everything else, so tell me why mine are not. I I think I explained that uh, as I was going through them. Saber doesn't stop accidentally going too far. OMG honestly is way too bad faith. Hmm? We need to cover half-conscious choke me daddy snares way further than bad things happen so that doesn't prevent. That makes sense. And quite a few kink circles. No doesn't mean no because safe words. Well, I mean, then that's something to talk about. And then it comes back to the communication thing. Communication is important. Um, that's something that's obvious. I get that. No, I appreciate that and respect them. And some people say it hinders them. Most don't because they get piled most of the time. Um, yeah, it's again, it's gonna come back to individuals into acting individually or interacting individually. It's whatever the individuals involved agree to. Um, anyway, ad break is imminent. I think I'm just gonna get a jump start on that. I will be right back. And I'm back again. appreciate that and respect them. And then some people say it hinders them, but most don't. But because they get piled most of the time, if you try to talk about it, just get a room of dissent. That was kind of my point about lack of good point. Have to catch the rest of this on the pod. Gotta hit the hay and be up for work in the morning. Take care, guys. Yeah, you have a good night, Diablo. Thanks for hanging out. Even if the conversation went in a certain direction. Thanks for chatting. See you soon. Take care and expect troublesome Nico girls from here on in. Sure. Welcome back. Thank you. So sorry for being so bad at communicating, chat. I have a point that's clear to me, but I can't eloquate it. I can't understand key points. I am the problem. I take enough time for you. You're fine. You've got an opinion to express. Like I said, hey, call it a teachable moment. We're just talking. We have a difference of opinion. I'm gonna take it. I'll take one more stab at this before I before I get on with the game again. Okay. Regarding safe words, like you're saying, or at least you seem to indicate that the whole concept of safe words in haha, brave, yeah, thanks. Basically, you're saying the safe words do more harm than good in a BDSM setting. I disagree with that. I think they're more good than harm. And I am arguably at a disadvantage in this conversation in that I don't participate in BDSM community. I don't participate in I don't know, BDSMX, so it's like I'm just going by stuff that I've read. But I think well, because they do no good is because they do no good is my point outside of SA Fantasy. Okay. Okay. How do I put this? When it comes to sexual intimacy, there's a vulnerability that comes with that, not just physical vulnerability, but like emotionally, psychologically, and like people get into a different headspace when they're engaged in that sort of act, which is different from a more normal, rational headspace that you might be in your day-to-day life. And engaging in some kind of role play with regards to BDSM it's like another layer of different headspace. And some people, feel a need to have a signal to break out of that headspace, and as Nemesis put it, and switch to caretaker mode. And yeah, just saying no, stop can be that trigger for breaking out of the headspace. But some people want to have an extra layer of call it security, some sense of mental emotional security that they're allowed to let themselves go and be in that headspace that they can't normally allow themselves to go into in their day-to-day life, and have that assurance that they can say a certain word to get out of it. Plus, like, uh, people experiencing some kind of traumatic flashback or whatever might not be able to um, verbally articulate it, and how far do I want to go with this? Um, I don't know if I'm making sense. I like the the concept that I'm trying to express is up here in my mind. I don't know how to express it in words in a way. Language is so imprecise sometimes. Like I'm trying to communicate feelings and emotions and a particular psychological state, um, which you may or may not have. What have you got here? Not against them, against the notion that not needing them because no means no is worrisome. You were saying no worries, haha, extra layer. I wish I could better express why it is that I feel the idea that it's an extra layer is wrong. The whole problem with this discussion is basically that people always think I'm thinking or against or encouraging something I'm not, and that's on me for failing to explain better. Hold on a second. I've been well measured and sensitive, but I fear this will exhaust you. Let's come back another time, left you loads. Yeah, fair enough. I've probably labored this point far too much at this point. Um, but thank you for participating in the conversation, Sylph. Take care of yourself, of course. And yeah. Heck. I feel like I want to wrap this up. I feel like I need to say something to wrap it up. Basically, I guess what it comes down to, hey, is communication is important. Go touch some cats, haha. Yeah, no, communication is important. In any relationship, whether it's sexual or not, whether it's BDSM or not, communication is important. You know, um, I'm a firm believer in the notion that like a majority of relationships that fail do so because of differences in expectations between the people involved, um, and that comes down to poor communication or lack of communication or something miscommunicated. It's communication, very important. And talking about how safe words could possibly relate to court cases and whatnot. Well, hey, I mean, maybe that's a translation of the general public not being educated enough on the subject. And that's also a form of communication, education is. So, hey, just a need for communication all around is probably beneficial. Talking about stuff. Anyway, what if we actually got back to the game that I'm playing, actually? I think I went for an entire hour talking there. It just went from one ad break to the next. Right, okay, yeah. So when we last left our heroes, our nameless protag is, con- continuing continuing to sexualize the hapless Nikos as he does, and they're cooking up rat burgers. Well, maybe they're not burgers. He's just cooking up rats. because one of them caught rats, and now he's basically like I get the definite feeling like he doesn't want to disappoint her. Like he interprets the gift as rats, the gift of rats as gifts, and like he finds them disgusting, but he doesn't want to be rude and turn down her gift. So he's cooking them up on the barbecue, uh, heavily seasoned. Yep, communication and boundaries are important in a relationship. That's all I'll say. Yeah, fair enough. There you go. Anyway, moving on. Still not convinced about this whole idea. I set up a picnic in the backyard, even cooked. The less rat in the house, the better. Claudia brings out a blanket at my request, and we all set ourselves on it. Each of us will, with not enough plate for too much rat. Good guy, MC, sure. Came back exactly where I came in the first time. Yeah. Cooking rats. Exactly. Just have him licking him up on the floor tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, somehow that whole tangent went maybe longer than usual this time. Num num. Yeah. Haven't turned off yet. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along. The moment of truth. Pepper immediately digs in, rolling the cooked rat like corn on the cob. She seems less happy than I expected her to be, a little angry. Still, she pulls strips of the tough meat from the rat and chews with vengeance. Claudia, very much entertained with Pepper's enthusiasm, nibbles a bit of meat off of her rat in a much more dignified manner. Shimmy watches me closely as I cut a thin sliver of leathery meat. Is it too late to become vegetarian? Yeah. Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to comment on. The fact that Shimi specifically brought four of them back, it was clearly intended as a gift for, herself and her three companions here. Which is, kind of sweet in its own way, because, like, she's spent however much of this in-game time, weeks recuperating from broken bones and whatnot, presumably hit by a car. Um, this is like her first opportunity to actually give back to the household that looked after her, which is kind of a sweet little gesture, even if you know presenting a gift of dead rats is kind of uh, yeah. She cares enough to get for them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She brought some for everybody. Like she intended this to be a gift for them to like thank them for their hospitality and so on. So even though she's like this feral, nonverbal person, being, creature, thing, uh, she yeah. Anyway, moving right along. Rat meat is very different from anything I've ever had. Even spiced, soaked in wine, and cooked with a generous amount of lemon, honey, and mustard seed, it tastes like, well, rat. It's not terrible, but really close. You can see terrible quite well from here. Tough and stringy, the greasy, stale aftertaste. I guess you could say gamey if you're being really generous. The seasoning just doesn't do enough to cover the sour flavor of the meat. I don't think any amount would. Satisfied I've accepted her gift, Shimi bites into her own rat. We really are from very different worlds, humans and Nikos. As Claudia, Pepper, and Shimi sit with me enjoying their lunch, I feel very fortunate to be witness to them. If Veronica were to look over the fence right now, I don't think I'd be embarrassed at all to be the guy with three Nikos. Or even the guy with three Nikos eating rat. Because that's just it. Rat's brought to me by a feral. My feral. You think cats would hate the seasoning? I was thinking that, I was, certainly if they were, like, actual cats, you wouldn't want to season the meat. Like, cats are obligate carnivores. I'm not quite clear on what the diet of the Nikos are in this world. She's a darling, isn't she? Did rat meat generally taste gamey and it's often compared to rabbit or chicken with a stronger flavor than chicken? Some describe it as tender, moist, and with a distinctive flavor that's rich and gamey. Rice field rats in particular. Is that a is that a quote from something? I can't say I know what rat meat is like personally. Anyway. Moving right along, there's probably not another person on the planet that could make that claim, and that makes another bite of rat go down a little easier. I don't think I'll eat rat again, but watching Shimi use her nails like daggers to pick the bones clean, I know I'll happily cook it up for her anytime she shows up with it. Back inside, the sound of drawers and cabinet doors being opened and rifled through fills the kitchen. Shimi goes through the cabinets with a kind of carefree abandon, not the stealthy, quiet feral I'm so used to. I'm at a loss as to how to engage this. It's like she's on a mission. We all patiently watch as Shimi digs something out from the back of the pantry shelf. It gets quiet. Finally satisfied, Shimi steps away from the aftermath of her hunt and the mild disarray of the cabinets. Lips slightly parted, her expression never changes. Shimi brings her prize up to her face, examining its details. Of course. It's another damn can of crushed tomatoes. This makes no sense. Does she even eat crushed tomatoes? Is there some weird sentimental value? Is it the colors of the label? But I know it's the can itself. Have pesky rats that need squashing? Give him a serving of fancy brand crushed tomatoes. Feral recommended. Can't help but smile and shake my head. Shimi looks from her can to me, then heads over to the curtains to return to its proper place. She returns back to me, and I raise my hands in defeat. So far it's human food mostly, at least for domestics. So it seems. So cats don't like seasonings? Doesn't salt make meat taste more meaty? I mean, I don't know what it does for humans. Does it have that benefit to cats? I mean, salt... Salt's also used as a preservative. It dries out the meat, so it doesn't go bad as fast. I don't know what cats' opinions of salt are. Anyway, just actually raise my hands in defeat. You win. It's all yours. Sorry, did I miss something there? Ah, yes. Okay. Then Claudia draws a bath and ushers Shimi into the bathroom. Good girl, Claudia. At the sound of running water, Pepper gets wide-eyed, but it only takes a tiny bit of distraction to keep her from rushing off and getting in their way. I'm not ready to be the guy with 3 Nikos in his tub. Does it have that benefit for casket point? Yeah. You're in a very good mood. Did you like the rat, Pepper? She turns. Her expression complicated. Pepper looks at me with a seriousness that feels very out of place. Pepper hate rats. Rats hate Pepper. Well, if it helps, I think these rats don't hate anything. Not anymore. Pepper responds with a narrow grin. Pepper ate rat, and tonight she's getting story time. It's like it's your... Sorry, wait, I'm reading... Protag's line in Pepper's voice. Whoops. A Pepper rat tonight, and tonight she's getting story time. It's like it's your birthday. The mention of story time causes Pepper's mood to soften. She holds my stare for a moment. Then, without my even having to prompt, Pepper helps clean up. I'm immediately suspicious, again. She crams all the bones and leftovers into the incinerator, along with the used paper plates and napkins. Is it cats that don't like seasoned things? There you go. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, they're probably accustomed to like I don't know, instinctually accustomed to like eating animals out in the wild. So yeah. Anyway. Hey, Pepper, new ball. Big thanks. Her clumsy show of appreciation caused her to look anywhere but at me. Of course, you're my Nico. The fan on the incinerator hums softly. After Claudia and Shimi's bath, Shimi slept the rest of the day in her closet. I thought about engaging her, but it was enough just having her home, just knowing where she was. Pepper is still wound up from the rats. Shimi's lunch sat defiantly in everyone's belly. The rats were scrawny, but still big enough to be filling. That meant dinner was a very simple affair. Tea and some bread and butter, which is good. I still can't go shopping for a while, and Shimi's gross barbecue saved us 2 meals. She made an appearance for dinner and actually sat with us. Then she wandered the house, ending up on Claudia's couch and then my bed before returning again to the closet. I'm not surprised Shimi joins us for story time. Pepper's demands are too loud for anyone to sleep through. Good girl, Pepper. Yeah. Oh boy, I think we're about to get some more Sin Kitty stuff. Alright, let's see where this goes. 4 days since Kit's disappearance. This city has a habit of corrupting everything it touches. I can't help but wonder when it's going to finally corrupt me. The best kitty, yeah. It's funny. She's disappeared on me before, but this time feels different. Wait a second, are we getting, is this a different point of view? We've switched from our point of view character from the last time Sin Kitty came on. Should I be giving him a different voice then? Oh well. We need to move on. It feels ominous, as if the kit with the tired eyes and guarded smile I see during the daytime finally has succumbed to the city. There's a good girl Claudia earlier at Bath that looked like it was narrator voice of the author. Oh really? Oh, did I read the wrong line, or read it in the wrong voice rather? Oh well. Yeah, okay. I mean, part of it is like the text for Pepper's lines is very similar to the text for narrator's lines, for Protag's lines. Like hers is sort of, I don't know, it's like a light brown, while his is kind of brownish but sort of in the orange direction. They could have made these more distinct. Like Claudia's lines, if I go far back enough, like Claudia's lines are in green, so it's very clear, and Shimi's lines are in blue. Like that one there, and if we go far back enough, Veronica's lines are in purple. So they're color coded, but I don't know. If it was me, I feel like Pepper's lines and narrator's lines should have been a little more distinct than that. I mean, I guess this is a bit late to give that note, but you know, like I don't know, like yellow could have been a good color. Oh well. That's fine. I don't know, but want to. Pepper and MC lines are similar color. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Finally succumbed to the city, as if sin had taken over. The persona she's chosen has become permanent, and Kit's gone forever. All that's left is the vengeance and violence, the blood and terror. Narrator also main character. Yes. Yeah. The guy I keep referring to as Protag. He's yeah, narrating it and also has lines. It's Kick. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, Kick, the other character, the sidekick of the Nico character from earlier. Anyway, I know I would miss Kit if that was true. I think the only thing that makes a city tolerable for me these days is Kit, not Sin. I don't want to think too hard about what that really means. There's time for that later, after I find her again. Oh. Sidekick? Full frontal sidekick? Yeah. Is this a bit of I was going to say fiction imitating reality. It's more like second layer of fiction imitating first layer of fiction. that we're Kick or Sidekick is reluctant to acknowledge his feelings for Nico, just like narrator is hesitant about acknowledging his feelings for his Nikos. Anyway, moving on. Kid, where the hell are you? Not here either, huh? She's alone. Is she afraid? Or is she just fixated on something, unable to let go in her pig-headed way, chasing it to the ends of the earth? At this point, I'm running out of places to check. Whether it's the Sin side of her or the Kit side of her doing the thinking, there are only a few more left. Come to think of it, I've known her for years, and I have no idea what the hell Sin is meant to stand for. Just Sin? Is it short for something? Cinderella? Cindy? Cinecanon? Sin Mortal? Kit, wherever you are, wherever you are, you're seeing the same sunset I am. I'm sure of it. I can't see you, but I can see it, and that gives me hope. I'll find you, Kit, and bring you home. If I can get one thing out of this sewer of a city, it's going to be you. Oh shit. Dirty rats. And worse. Rat bastard. After story time, Shimmy joins me in my bed. Back to this again. With her hugging a pillow and her toe on my leg, we fall asleep quickly. There's that reference to the toe on his leg again. I'm reminded of the house that I grew up in. We had 2 cats, and they had a rather curious relationship. Like, the first time the second cat came in, there was a lot of fighting between them, but at some point they settled into routine, and they seemed to have some kind of affection or even depending on each other. Like they would sleep close to each other, and one would like stretch a foot out to touch the other to make sure he's there. Which is interesting. Even though cats are, by nature they're not social creatures, they did seem to have their own social dynamic going on. Anyway, moving right along. It's the middle of the night, but I'm awake. Shimi wakes me, but not by touch. I'm aware of her. It makes me wonder if there's more to the feeling that something is watching you with Shimi. Are you just cottoning onto that now, Protag? With me. Come. She doesn't use any words, she doesn't have to. I feel her calling me to follow. Quickly dressing, I'm in the backyard without a second thought. Shimi's short tail regards me comfortably. The glow of the moonlight seems to energize her. I watch as her ears, eyes, and nose, 3 entities that each pull different information from the darkness, align themselves. I find my thoughts becoming fancy again. Shimi has that effect on me. She trots off. I follow through Gora's gate into Veronica's yard? Duck under the clothesline through the back bushes and step into the woods. Are we sure we want to be going into the neighbor's yard in the middle of the night? It's seeming creepy. I don't know. Going into the forest seems like maybe unsafe too. This is fine. I know, right? Anyway, heading due east through the trees, we avoid the marshy lowlands to the south. Crossing broken ledges of granite and avoiding high ground, we move through the shroud of night, skirting the moonlit areas and occasionally someone's backyard. Her pace is quick. Only her periodic stops to listen and check her surroundings allow me to keep up without having to jog the whole time. It often feels as if she's moving in random directions, but somehow I can tell that Shimi knows exactly where we're going, where she's leading me. Again and again, I'm sure we're about to double back as we come upon an impassable cluster of trees where whatever trail she's following dead ends. Each time I'm astonished when she effortlessly slips through, somehow finding the secret way. With the dark and Shimi's With the dark and Shimi's seemingly erratic route, I lose track. I lose all track of time and direction. It's otherworldly, sidereal, more a part of the heavens than of the earth. The pre-morning mist only adds to the strangeness of this already bizarre jaunt. This whole scene is rather strange. What is Protag doing? What are you doing? Like, I hope he brought, I don't know, keys and phone with him and so on, uh, in case that becomes necessary. Going for a walk? I mean, I suppose. Anyway, I feel like a pioneer, and Shami the native guide, leading along the whispers of a trail, following directions neither etched in stone nor written in sand, but somewhere between. An invisible track that threads in and out of the civilized wilds of the world of people, along paths visible only to the feral, paths Shimi knows every step of. Her world, deep in the dark on the fringes of human society, the place the feral occupy and hunt, we're deep in it. Shimi doesn't look back, but often I catch one of her ears tracking me. Realizing that I haven't fallen behind, her stub of a tail flutters up, lifting her shirt, unintentionally teasing me with a glimpse of the curve of her body. Ah, gosh darn it. Darn it, Protag. Must you? Anyway. Shimi pauses for a moment, distracted and intrigued by the glow of a lone lightning bug. I take the opportunity to catch my breath and to just watch her. Her strange fascination at the little firefly lasts less than a minute, but completely breaks her concentration. It's like it's the first time she's ever seen one, or noticed one. Then, back to purpose. She turns and we're off again. Eventually the woods thin, sporadically littered with trash, they open to an older and forgotten part of town. Shami and I hem along deserted brick mill buildings and long empty shells of warehouses, all now open to the elements from glassless windows and doorless entryways. Just keep watching her? Yeah. Awareness? Awareness? Like what? You're asking if she has awareness? I'm not sure. Anyway. We're ignored by all of it as we go. Even the skeletal car, half swallowed by shadows and briars, pays us no heed. I've never seen these buildings, with their faded graffiti and other scars of vandalism worn away by time and the elements, but I have an idea where the abandoned area is, over by the river. It's also outside of any frame of reference that it may as well be on an alien planet. The prevailing feeling is that we've crossed over, stepped into another world. She's noticing things? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like noticing the firefly for the first time. I mean, hey, it could be that in the past she's focused on survival over all other concerns, so she didn't pay attention to fireflies. Although, even then, you'd think, fireflies are pretty eye-catching. I think she'd notice it anyway, but whatever. And this part, a post-apocalyptic landscape devoid of life, is populated only by a vacant quiet that is unnatural and endlessly strange. Shimi pauses as we come to the edge of what was once a parking lot, now overgrown with scrub bush and the occasional piles of tires, old appliances, construction debris, and other trash dumped here long ago. Seeing that all is clear, Shimi breaks from the tree line into the more open area of the parking lot. Yeah. Welcome to Fairland. Yeah. That's the other thing. Like, hey, maybe, because this is one of the things I wondered about the world building, because we only have Protag's word about a lot of things, and it feels like a lot of it is unreliable narrator. Like, I've had occasion to wonder, hey, maybe the ferals aren't as individualistic as you think. Maybe they have their own society. Maybe they have gatherings in, like, let's say, abandoned buildings like this, you know? Anyway. Sensing my hesitation, she turns back. It's the first time she's looked at me since we started this trek. Yeah, this looks abandoned, this shot? Yeah, yeah. A pink hue bleeds into the early morning. Her expression is as soft and as alluring as the first tendrils of sunlight which reach towards us from deepening cracks in the night sky. Her beauty is a marvelous contrast against all this neglect and blight. I feel her urging me to follow, to continue. She doesn't speak, and yet the emotions she conveys are clear. More, with me. Of course, I follow her. Stepping into the broken ground that once was a parking lot, we cross. At the far end, like an island in the shallow sea of scrub weeds, a small copse of trees seems to be our destination. Even in the low morning light of dawn, I'm surprised that I didn't see it sooner. It wasn't until we were almost on top of it that I noticed, at the heart of this small area, a dilapidated tool shed still stands in defiance of the surrounding ruin. Like the old industrial buildings around us, it was also forgotten a long time ago. The wooden planks that make up the walls are all cracked and partially rotted. Moss and weeds have overtaken much of it. If there was ever a door, it's long gone. That small, weird smile that Shimi has been trying out appears on her face as she turns to me. Home. Ah. She's introducing him to the home she had before she found herself staying at Protag's place, I guess. Home? This is where you used to live? Or at least one of the places she kept a stash? Yeah, I can't see Shimi ever having just one home. Shimi reaches for me. We step into her home. Inside looks just as bad as outside, maybe worse. From outside, I couldn't tell there was a large hole in the roof at one end that has been letting the rain in, allowing mold to move in as well. Or the hole looks partially caused by what may have been a fire at some point. The area around it and along the wall appears charred. It's impossible to tell in the dark and with the age of the shed. There's an old torn-up canvas tarp atop an older wooden pallet. Shimi picks up the tarp and shakes it, filling the air with dust and mold spores. Naturally, she doesn't have many possessions, but curiously on old hooks that likely once held rakes or other maintenance tools, there's a musty hooded sweatshirt, something of hers for cooler weather, no doubt. The hooks also display sheets of paper. They appear to be pages pulled from magazines. The hint of early morning light is barely sufficient to see them. Two of the pages feature people, and the third is a magazine cover. All show the unkindness of paper exposed to weather, but I can make out a woman with hair much like Shimi's. It's hard to tell much more. Whoever she is, or whoever Shimi thinks she is, will have to remain her mystery. I watched Shimi survey this place she's spent so much time in. It seems like only a few minutes ago she was excited, but now she looks less sure? Home, she says again, touching her lips this time as if feeling the sound escape into the barren shed, but the word is a hollow afterthought, a tone of lost innocence. Her stub of a tail gives a swish as her weird little smile fades. This is much more than Shimi contrasting the comfort of her nest of blankets and pillows in the hall closet against her tool shed safe house. She gazes at me thoughtfully. Her eyes sweeps downward to my feet, then slowly back up my form, finally ending where it began. Shimi looks into my eyes for a long time. She then seems to remember something. Under a rusty bucket, she picks up what looks like an old pocket knife and a small faded squeak toy. No, these aren't it. She changes her mind, putting them back, moving around the small space. There's a frantic pulse as she searches for something lost, something effectively invisible but still immeasurably valuable, some intangible key to some imperceptible lock. I try to comprehend what's happening, but her emotions are unfamiliar. I want to, but I can't help her. All I can see in the small dilapidated shed is a convenient shelter, a hidden place that a pharaoh sometimes occupied. I step to her and take her hand. Without looking at me, Shimi leads me out of the shed. Before we leave the copse of trees, I stop. Thank you for showing me this place. She watches my mouth make the words and then regards me for a moment. I expect her weird little smile to re-emerge, but it doesn't. She's hoping to find something? There's something she intended to show him? Instead, she turns and we're off again. She leads me through the hollows of an old cannery. I follow past a small power substation, now rusted and stripped of its copper. We cross forgotten railroad tracks. Down a small hill and we're back into the woods. There are no landmarks to recognize, but in the early dawn I can tell we're headed back towards home from a slightly different direction. The whole time one of her ears it keeps twitching behind her, turning to make sure that I'm not lagging too far behind. I'm grateful when Shimi pauses again to listen and look around. Catch my breath, I realize how embarrassingly out of shape I am. The walks to the store and back a few times a week aren't enough. I tell myself I need to exercise more, knowing that I probably won't. And then, cast in the soft glow of that morning, of the morning, it's a Shimi that I don't think I've seen before. She seems taller outside, and at the same time smaller, grander, and also less obvious. I swear, if I wasn't looking at her, I'd never know she was there at all. She reads the invisible marks on trees and sees the color of the scents on the air. And then she moves again, her silky dark hair tinged orange in the early light. There's a tremendous amount of confidence in everything that she does out here. She still limps, but it is barely noticeable, an almost natural part of her gait. She really is amazing. We come through the back of Veronica's yard. Good thing all of Veronica's lights are still off. This would be difficult to explain. Back inside, Shimi goes into Claudia's sunroom. Her presence instantly wakes Claudia, who seems confused. Huh? Claudia lifts the blanket in welcome, like a troubled kitten, Shimi curls in, hiding her head in Claudia's bosom. Claudia pulls Shimi into a soft embrace, stroking her hair. The sun is up, so there's no point in trying to get back to bed. Looking to the new day sky, my mind races, trying to connect the missing pieces. What is it that Shimi's looking for? And most troubling, I can't help but feel that much of Shimi's frustration is aimed at me. And we're into the next day. And, this... the music change marks a change in mood, and I have a feeling maybe it's a good time to save and wrap up the stream. Yeah, we didn't get any choices this this stream session, but got a lot of talking done. Oh wait, does the player come to understand things from a different perspective upon realizing that there are no Neko girls and protagonist is a perfect capable of escaping from Fanny's nailed it, I think? We'll see. It would explain some things and raise some questions about other things. Anyway, game is saved. Did we even really move the plot forward much this session? Well, I mean, there was the whole bathroom scene earlier, and then the scene with Veronica, and then the rat barbecue. So, some stuff happened. I feel like maybe we got a little bogged down in the whole conversation about the BDSM community and all that, but hey, good time was had by all, I think. I mean, some interesting things were talked about. It's all good. Hey, I stream in the first place for the whole social aspect of it, so it's all good. But for now, I guess want to see about who to raid? And no, I think no. So, why don't we raid? Why don't we give Sylph a raid? I mean, if this thing will allow it. What's Sylph got going on here? Project X Light Years? I have no idea what that is. Is this a game? What game is this? The question is, will this thing let me give her a raid? Because it's say the music is top notch. It's got some good music in it for sure. Oh, Sylph is switching games. Oh, okay, so it just changed to Jupiter Hell. Okay, that's a game I'm more familiar with. Yeah, it looks like she's just in the middle of switching over. Um, and funnily enough, I'm a moderator in her channel, so I see an ad break coming up. I'm just gonna snooze that because we can send the raid over. If this thing will let me raid, will this? Because last time I tried to raid her, it wouldn't let me do it. Here we go. Okay, I think it's yeah, I think it's working now. Cool. Okay. Anyway, yeah. I don't know what else to say beyond what I've already talked about. Things will progress. We'll see where this goes. But that's all for now. And until next time.